Hello, friends, and welcome to the 319th episode of Play Along Podcast, a video game book club. In today's episode, we are here with the penultimate episode of Immortals of Aveum, going through chapters 11 through 15, and a lot happens in this section. So I'm excited to get into it. I'm your host Jared, and I'm joined by Kai and Ben as always. Gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm back.
Kai's back, everybody. Woo!
Yes, officially back at the desk. Unfortunately, I apologize for leaving my laptop charger behind.
Yeah, bro brought all his equipment to his little
short 11-hour drive away. But yes, after setting up, I was devastated to learn that I did leave the most important item behind, which is, that's a choice. But I'm here now, and that's what's important. So,
were you getting the itches? Were you getting the podcast itches, or you're just like, man, I want to talk about this game?
Well, I was just haunted by the microphone, having to constantly unpack it and repack it during my vacation, and being like, there's no use for you. I have nothing.
A reminder of what could have been.
What could have been. The glory. I mean, I also brought my audio interface and cables and
everything.
Yeah.
It's very about the whole shebang.
I almost did. I was like, maybe I can go to like the business center of this hotel and like then I was like, even then, I don't know if that is gonna fly. So
yeah. Well, we did miss it. We enjoyed recording. It was a great recording, man. I had a good time, but
it was a good recording session. It wasn't.
You don't have to say that. You could lie. That would be fun.
No,
it was terrible. We missed you. It's not the same without you. That's the correct response.
It did feel empty without your buy at the end. It did feel empty.
Okay, well,
I even considered
my only contribution.
I even considered messaging you like, hey, can you just say like buy into a mic and then send it to me so I can yes.
Well, you'll get it this week because I know everyone is hankering for a good buy. So
yeah, and there's a lot of shit that happened in last week's episode that I imagine you had opinions on, which we'll get to your opinions in a second. We'll let you have the floor.
Okay.
But gentlemen, we aren't alone on this episode. We brought in some backup for Immortals of Aveum. We are here with the boy, one half of the Friday Night Gamecast. It is Will. Will, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here, ready to sling some spells and shoot out some magic. Listen, it's a really fun one. I appreciate y'all having me on, and it's gonna be a good group of chapters.
Good to have you back, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It's always fun being here with the fellas, so thank y'all very much.
I know. I was going through and I was looking for people on for guest appearances for the show, and I saw on PlayStation it has like friends that have also played this. I was like, oh look, Will has it. I'll reach out to him and see if he's played it. And you're like, I did a little bit, but other things got in the way, which is totally fair. I could see other games distracting you from Immortals of Aveum.
Can I ask? I'm curious. Off the back of that, was this like a purchase, or was this a PlayStation Plus thing, or what? Like,
okay,
same. Classic. The 3 games come out each month, and I just mindlessly add to library.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that is a good question because honestly, I don't know what Immortals of Aveum runs on. I think when it was on Steam, when you're looking at it, it was like full price, which is kind of crazy.
Jeez.
But I don't know what it's going for now. I'm loving this game. Please don't pay $60 for Immortals of Aveum.
It's probably not.
It is $60 on Steam right now.
Yeah,
that is a lot of dollars.
There's sales. There are definitely sales. So wait for a sale.
Sure. Wait for a sale. Because I think the sale that happened right before we started recording, it was like 90%. Like Kai, didn't you get it for like $5?
I got it. It was like 90%. I got it for $6.99. That is still even then questionable, but
this game is definitely worth the $7.
Come on, Kai.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of games you can play for free.
I mean, not wrong.
True. I guess that's true. Yeah.
How much?
I don't know if it's just me.
That's the question.
That's true. Will, for anybody at home that is unfamiliar with you and Nick do on the internet over on Friday Night Gamecast, why don't you let the people know?
All right. So as you mentioned, I am one half of the Friday Night Gamecast. We do a lot of different episodes for things like a variety streams, kind of what you call this. And we've done lists. We've done kind of look backs. We've done a couple of that I really enjoy where we kind of go through the entirety of a old school system. You've done like the Generation 7, Generation 6, etc. More recently, we're getting a lot more into those kind of more standard reviews, which is really fun to do. We bring on guests, very similar to this one, but in one episode versus stretching it out and kind of doing the play along format. But a couple of really good ones we've had from there. We've done a lot of the big hitters in the past, like Spider-Man 2. Our very first one was Control. So definitely go back and look at that one if you kind of want to get how we start from the beginning, especially with Control Resonant coming out soon. So we're looking forward to hopping into that one too.
There's too many games.
This year's nuts. 2026.
Too many.
It's hashtag too many games. Like it's gonna be way too much. So, but yeah, we do that. And then you can catch us on any kind of podcast streaming platform. So Apple, Spotify, the lot of them. So definitely go give us a listen. And if you enjoy Play Along Podcast, I think you would enjoy hearing myself and Nick kind of get along too. We have a similar vibe. We just kind of give each other shit and have a good time.
that chaotic energy that people love.
Exactly.
Yeah, the buddy energy for sure.
Yeah. And everyone listening knows that we love Friday Night Gamecast. So definitely go check them out. And Nick and Will have both been on the podcast a numerous amount of times on different episodes. Get Rex. I think the last time Nick was on was the Dispatch season. So if you want to go check that out, which was a great game and a great episode too, make sure to go and check that out. I know Nick was saying that he's like, Will was sad that he wasn't included in the Dispatch episode.
Dispatch is up there. Here's the thing. I want this going on record. I put him on Dispatch. So I'm happy for him. But I was like, oh, you're talking about Dispatch. Okay.
Interesting. That game I told you to play.
Interesting.
Single tier down your face.
It was really good. He did a really good job. Nick is always good, especially if you end up listening to us at all. He tends to get more into the kind of storyline, and that's exactly what Dispatch needs, is really breaking down the story. I'm more of this game is great from an action standpoint, guy.
Well, you are perfect for this episode. Let me tell you.
Let's blow shit up and shoot things, and the story's here, but I'm here to mess shit up, and that's about it. Which is kind of the perfect game for me right now. We'll get into it, but this has kind of been like a great vibe, especially like Will was saying. There's so many as a recording. Everybody at home with your bingo cards, check off. Jared talks about bulk recording because we are bulk recording. This is coming out later in the year. But as a recording, we are like right in the middle of showcase season. PlayStation Presents is coming up. We got like Summer Games Fest. We're gonna get a sea of new games we're gonna learn about. So there's gonna be even more. So it's also been interesting to see, because Fable also just got delayed, seeing games run away from the GTA 6 like window of there. People are like, we don't want to launch around that. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen a bit more. I think, or like we'll find out, like maybe not games were delayed, but games like thought about releasing, and then they found out that GTA got pushed back, and they were like, actually, do you know what? Let's not.
Yeah, avoid that.
Yeah, everyone plays GTA. Even people that don't play video games will buy GTA 6. So it's like avoiding that window is probably best for everybody involved.
Yeah, nothing is outshining that game, unfortunately.
Nope, unfortunately. Okay, well, let's get into some housekeeping before we jump into today's episode. Like I said at the top of the show, we are Play Along Podcast, where we play through games in a book club format. What we usually do is myself, Kai, and Ben will each take turns picking a game. We'll then get that game and break it down into sections and come together each episode to talk about those sections specifically. Like I said, we are in the tail end, penultimate episode of Immortals of Aveum, but it's always a good time to grab the game, join the conversation, and play along with us. Again, grab the game at a discount. Unless you're really into Immortals of Aveum and you're down to drop $60. There's a lot of $60 games that you can. I'd probably point you in the direction of using your money other than this. But hey, if you're a big Immortals of Aveum stan, then I guess go for it. Pop off game. On top of that, we also have another side series on the show called Get Wrecked, where we join a guest from the internet and swap video game recommendations. This month's episode, I was joined by Gianni from the Content Mill podcast. We talked about Indica and Super Mario Odyssey, which I always love saying out loud because those are two very different games. Ben, I jumped into Indica for a little bit, played like an hour or so. This is a Ben-ass game. You gotta play it.
Yeah. It looked like a Ben-ass game. I'm not gonna lie. I've had it on my radar for a long time. You know, I'm an FMV stan. I fucking love me an FMV game. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's exactly what I needed. Was something.
I mean, if you have PS Plus, it's on there. I think it's on Game Pass too. I'm not sure if it's on Game Pass.
At least the time of recording it is, I think.
Yeah, just the first hour or so, I was like, Ben has to play this. I'm kind of sad that I'm playing it here because I think it'd be a great play along game, but it's too late. I'm already playing it, so But it's good. It's a good time. It's a good time for sure. Okay, well, before we jump into the discussion proper for chapters 11.
What? You sort of like gave yourself this sigh to psych yourself up. You're like, right, okay. Like, yeah, about Immortals of Aveum.
Well, I mean, you're kind of right. I kind of did, because there's a lot of lore that happens in this section specifically, and so there's a lot to talk about. I have notes this time again, Ben. I think the notes actually went well when I used them last week. So hey, we're gonna use them again this week. And,
there was notes last. Oh, I leave 1 week and there's finally fucking notes. Okay, wow, all right, that's nice.
And I'm like, yo, this is so streamlined. This is crazy. Maybe we should do this whole notes thing.
Someone's not interrupting. I can follow the plot. What's going on?
No, it is a chunky boy this week. But I did want to send it over to Will first, as we have a guest on first for each of our book club seasons. We want to kind of gauge their experience with the game prior to playing it. Will, any first impressions that you might have had with Immortals of Aveum, and if you have any high level thoughts on like narrative points or any cool gameplay moments that you remember up to this point.
Just a little bit of that background history. So we talked about me getting off of PlayStation Plus. So that was one of the things. I downloaded it. It had been on my radar, obviously not to the extent to buy it day one, because I did not. But it was one of those where it looked okay. And I was like, oh, it looks like a little AA, jump in 12 hours, 15 hours, kind of knock it out that way, and it should be fine. So once it was free, effectively, quote unquote, I was like, all right, no point not to download it. Checked it out. I think I hopped in. I'm pretty sure I only got to the main menu. I don't even think I've got to the game proper before something else came along and like took my time. And then after a week of having it on there without touching it, I deleted it off. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. So this is my first time actually jumping in and playing. And I would say, at least from the start, it wasn't like the gripping narrative, but it definitely pulled me along through enough to where I was like, all right, I'm in, I'm ready to play. I think the prologue start, especially when it got to, finding out about Jack being a Triarch and his magical explosion, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's kind of see where this goes. So everything that kind of set up there was still pretty generic. You got your best friend, and you can tell 10 minutes into playing, I'm like, all right, something's gonna happen to her. She's I'm ready to go be a soldier in the army. I'm like, oh no, you're not gonna make it.
She's not ready. She's not ready. It's
not gonna happen. And then you get your little ragtag group of kid friends. It's like, oh, here's our little gang. I'm like, they're not going to make it out the prologue, are they? No. They get blown up 10 minutes in. I'm just like, all right, we're not even going to pretend like this isn't just, situation. So, yeah, getting from there, though, had a good time running through. I am curious. I know we talked a little bit about it before recording, but I guess up to this point that we're going to talk to now, what have y'all had as far as kind of guesses or thoughts on the story that have come true? Because just FYI, so everyone knows, like, I've beaten it up to this point, so I want to make sure that I'm not showing too much of a face when y'all say something that guesses into the future, and I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the Luna thing.
Yeah, we called
that day one that she was the hand. The fact that Kirkan's evil, called that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing that hasn't come true is technically we're related to Sandrakk, which
that was my last week's theory. I had that Sandrakk was our father, which we don't know up to this point yet. So
yeah, I think I can see it. I mean, I think it's been interesting because like there were certain twists that come about. Like I think this was the second episode, Sandrakk being an immortal. And especially this leg, like finding out just how close him and Kirkan were. And there's a whole section, I mean, we'll get to when you're going through the path and you're seeing the history of Kirkan and Sandrakk and the revelation that comes of like what Kirkan sort of did. I didn't see any of that coming. Like I knew that she was maybe not as good of a person as she was letting on, but I didn't think that they would kind of go as evil as they've kind of made her.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but definitely up there with Kirkan. I agree with y'all 100%. I was like, she's obviously not telling you
the full truth.
Like not even like a third of the truth, right?
Yeah,
everything's very obscured from her end. So I'm like, okay, she's hiding something, and she's not hiding it for just no reason. So it's wartime. They told you multiple times. They're kind of throwing it in your face. This is the Everwar. You got to do what it takes to. So I'm like, she's gonna do like some mustard gas equivalent sometime soon.
It's big, like it is big, like like ask not what you can do for your what your country can do for you kind of vibes. Like it's just like we need soldiers for the Everwar. I didn't expect Sandrakk to be a Triarch. That was something that kind of I mean it makes sense in terms of him kind of being the big bad and like why he has the ability to do what he does.
Also why everyone's so aggressive against Jack all the time.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
That plays into the story. The whole lightless thing too is like while the story's not good, I feel like the lore of the world is surprisingly deep, like maybe too deep.
It's
for the game
real
itself.
deep, yeah.
Well,
we kept talking about how it feels like this is like an existing lore. Like there's books and movies.
Yeah, but you're supposed to know the IP. It's like you're coming into Harry Potter book 5. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
What did I miss?
List, unforeseen. I'm like, what is all this? And then every time I talk to Orphe, I'm like, are you fucking with me right now?
And I think it's interesting because like I think you can definitely introduce pre-existing lore in a game. I just think the game doesn't do a good job of like a character being like, what the fuck is that? And then someone going, oh, like, oh, this is what it is. Like you kind of just they just drop bombshell. They're like, oh yeah, the light army, and you're like,
I mean, the fucking once again, I wasn't here, but the Rook thing where it's just like
talking Alori.
also whoever wrote that character is the same person who wrote the cop from fucking whatever that racing game we played was essentially the same fucking time. Just like, oh, okay, apparently this is a trope in video game writing.
Ben and I were just losing it when we were like talking about the conversation between Rook and Jack, where he's like, I need a cigarette, and Jack hands him a cigarette out of fucking nowhere, and I'm
that had me tweaking. Oh my god!
I didn't know we had cigarettes in Magic World.
Yeah,
right.
Nicotine is such a strong chemical that they just have standard cigarettes in a world in which they can levitate. Like,
shoot flames out of their hands and be like, oh yeah, but here's this Marlboro. Go for it.
You couldn't even have like some magic potion you take. Nope, it's just okay.
The other thing that got me, and I think it kind of killed Jared as well, was like when the big Luna reveal happened.
Oh, this was awful.
She's like flying away, and the camera turns to him, and he's like, please don't be you. And then like it reveals that it's Luna, and I fucking flipped. I literally was sitting in the front room. I was like, he has not once done any fucking indication he thinks it's Luna.
He never
like,
thought it was Luna.
Where is this
now at the reveal? He's just like, please don't be you. And I'm like,
I know we'll get to it, right? But I don't know if you guys picked up on this. When we have like the big mech fight, like the Pacific Rim fight against Sandrakk, Jack flies. And I'm like, where the fuck was that the whole game?
Yeah, both of them can fly.
Was he flying because Zendara was like allowing him to fly?
No, he flies. They fly separately off the giant robot.
Yeah,
and then it never gets spoken about, and it's not.
They're not just like falling in style.
No, there is magic coming out of them as they are hurtling towards the place they need to go.
They're like Iron Man. Like it shoots out their feet and then they fly off. Yeah, and that just never gets spoken about.
So much work on the platforming. They can't just let you fly whenever you want to.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, they introduce it when it's convenient for the lore, and that's it. And then it goes away.
And then why does Thaddeus have a fucking Southern accent? This is my problem with this guy, and I've mentioned this in the previous.
This is why we needed you here last week.
In the previous episode, which is like generally in fantasy IP, like you have a lot of different classes, but like they're at least grouped similarly. Like if you look at something like Lord of the Rings, like it's not like the elves all have different accents, but for some reason all the humans in this is like, well, howdy, I'm Thaddeus. It's like, what? Where's this coming? What? In like, what world did this make sense? It's like, is there like a whole group of people that sound like this? Is he the only one who sounds like this? Why does he live in a volcano? I'm very confused.
That's like if you watch Lord of the Rings and when Gandalf pulls up, he's like Southern.
Yeah, he's like, howdy, partner, you shall not pass. It's like, what?
Thou shall not pass.
Like, what?
There must be a Silmarillion thing. I'll have to read it later.
Yeah. You didn't read the lore. That's the problem. You weren't reading the lore.
It's something to do. Like there'll be a fucking guidebook or something. They're like, well, you didn't read page 87 of the guidebook.
Thaddeus was from a group of this southern tribe, and they got destroyed.
Also, the like fucking Luna comes in, shoots Thaddeus in the gut, and then like he's just alive randomly. He's like, actually, I'm back, folks. I'm like, what? Was that this episode? I'm having a hard time differentiating where it begins and ends.
Last episode. And
okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's still dead. We don't know.
Who knows?
Oh no!
I've never seen it. Yeah. You mentioned that though, Ben, with the lore. Has anyone, well, the three of y'all, I should say, did anyone really feel not convinced? I don't think is the right word, but when you pick up a little lore note in the game to stop and actually read it, or is it just like a cool and then like walk away?
Okay, so it started off this way, but I was seeing them pretty frequently because I'm doing a lot of exploration, so I'm finding them a lot. It got to a point where I stopped caring just because the ones I did read didn't feel super significant, and so I kind of just fell off of reading them. So I did not read them. No.
Yeah, I mean this may be player error. It may be like, if you read all the side notes, you get like a crazy amount of lore and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think the one I read a couple, and the last one I think I read was the military report that Kirkan gives you on Sandrakk.
I did read that one.
That was like the last one I read, and then when it was like 80% redacted, I was like,
okay,
thanks for that. What is this fucking Epstein level shit that we're fucking doing? Like, what is it?
How many times does Sandrakk's name show up in these files? Let's see.
Honestly.
That's how I felt with the lore, especially. There were some that are decent, like the world or the old, like legitimate lore, like when they talk about historical things you haven't been a part of. But a lot of the times they'll be like, hey, here's a character you met, and it'll give you like a little lore note, and you look at it, and it's literally what you just saw in the cutscene. So I'm like, what is the point?
I think that's kind of why I stopped reading. I stopped reading them, because the ones I were reading felt just kind of like a summation of what I'd just been told, and I was like I'm not really gleaning anything new from this at all.
Yeah, I'm also someone, which everyone on this podcast and listening knows, I'm someone that usually takes things at pretty face value too. So I don't ask a lot of questions, which, to my detriment sometimes. I'm just like, yep, they're explaining lore shit. I'm just like, yep, that's what they said, so it must be true. I didn't even think about Thaddeus having a southern accent, because it's like, that's Thaddeus, and that's what he sounds like, and there you go. That's all that matters.
I do want to say that, like, I feel like a little bit of credit is maybe a little bit due, because I feel like I like the idea of coming in with like everything that happened with Orman, right? These like sky islands, and they kind of like were so obsessed with power and magic that they literally blew themselves up. Like, I think that pre-existing stuff is cool. I think it's just that there is so much pre-existing stuff that is kind of thrown at you and not really digested. You don't get time to like lament on it or anything. It's kind of like, Orman was a place, it got blown up. We go into the giant library, there's giant robots. Get rid of their like weird metal saliva thing, open the door, like it's all good.
They didn't know how to edit. They were just like, we'll just keep adding things forever and ever and ever and ever, and places and people and times and history. It's like, come on.
It just feels like, not that I think I would want this to be like a 30+ hour RPG, but it feels like it needed a little more time to cook. Like, it feels like we needed some more time to like linger with some of these things.
Or what I was saying last time.
Well, I was saying they knew they weren't going to get a sequel, so they were just like,
like, we got to pack it all in.
Well, they're definitely not going to get a sequel that way.
I think this is like the main 2 points I had, is like, either this should have been 2 games, like it should have been a whole IP,
or a longer game,
or it should have been like a 35 hour RPG. Like it needed to.
My main takeaway from last episode, since I didn't get to share, which I shared in the Discord, is that this feels very out of date. Like, even for when it released, like just the way that the story works, the way you interact with characters, the weird like amount of loading screens that you have to sit through in this game for some goddamn reason, which I don't understand how they couldn't figure it out to not do loading screens, but whatever. I'd rather crawl through fucking cracks, if I'm being honest. Give me the fucking Star Wars approach rather than having to sit through these goddamn transition screens. It just feels it's like, I compared it to like Outer Worlds, and like if there's also like a Skyrim aspect to it, except it's less open world than that. It's just like, it feels old. It feels like a type of game that should have come out in 2016 and not 2026. Like, not graphically, obviously, it looks fine. It is pretty, but it just the style of gameplay, the way it's approached, just seems very not modern. There's kind of a way to approach a game like this. I feel like if you look at something like Horizon, or it just seems like there's games that do what it's trying to do, or even like Expedition 33, right? Like, obviously gameplay wise very different, but the aesthetics of it, the storytelling of it, the approach in a space like this of a fantasy world of making something compelling, like, that's obviously a much better example than this. And I think it's partially just because it doesn't really fit in the modern kind of understanding of how things should be done. Like, I think if this game came out in like 2015, it'd probably be pretty popular. Like, if they,
like it.
But now it's like we have so many other things that are so much better, that do what it's trying to do so much better. It's like, okay, like I don't know who this is for.
I wonder if it was partly like an optimization thing or something. I don't know, because the reason I'm saying that, because before we jump into the lore, like I don't know about you guys, but these last 2 legs, like partway through the last leg up to now, I'm getting a lot of like frame rate drops. I'm getting a lot of like
because there's like 1,000 there's like 1,000 enemies on
a lot
screen.
of
They make you
people on
fight
screen.
so many people at once, and they just like it tanks
Oh,
the
here we
frame
go.
rate. Yeah.
Oh, Betsy there, she handles it perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
You know,
Yeah. Before we get into it too, Will, I want to real quick pick your brain on the gameplay. How do you feel about the kind of like hand-to-hand first-person magic combat?
Well, that's kind of what I was getting to, so I appreciate that alley-oop there. So I would agree with you, especially Kai. This game does feel like an older game in many regards, from like the dialogue to some of the gameplay and things. But I would say where we're at now, kind of around chapter 11, when now you have all of your pieces, or at least the majority of your pieces. I think maybe you get like 1 or 2 more things within these next few chapters. It's as such, they're giving you these arenas that, as long as you're not just kind of like zeroed in like I do sometimes, you can still zip around with the lash and like get above somebody, shoot them with your blue, switch over to your green, attack somebody that needs to. And a lot of those, as long as I'm kind of playing in concert, which I had to sometimes, playing on that like harder difficulty, it felt fairly good. Especially once you get like better gear and you level it up. I don't know about y'all, but I repeatedly forgot about the forge, so I would be going into like fights and all of my gear.
How?
That's crazy.
And
especially because you got like
so
legendary loot. I saw. I was like, damn, homie's kitted out.
Yeah, by the time I got to the end, I had all the legendary stuff, and I was like using the forge to actually level it. But like leveling through, I don't know. I'm still on gamer brain to where you hoard everything. So I'm like, I can't level up my gear. It uses money and it uses this. And then I don't know. I know you saw in that screenshot, I had 600,000 gold by the end of the game. So it's like, why?
That was great.
why do
I'm constantly running out of money because I'm just like upgrading stuff and running out of money. So that's so funny.
But the overall gameplay, though, like the minute-to-minute gameplay itself felt pretty good. It's not quite a Metroidvania, but they give you little pieces here and there, and then you can go back and break the wards, or you can, go like slow things down with the limpets, which is another thing I constantly forgot to use in combat.
I forget about the limpets a lot too.
Limpets.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they throw a lot at you.
We talked about this in the first episode, which is like the only redeeming quality of this game is the gameplay, which is really good. Like, it's like
it's a fun game to play.
Yeah, we compared it to Doom. It's like it's essentially that. It's Doom with magic. Like it's a good loop. It's fun to do. I will say that, like, we can talk about in this section, but the last section as well. It gets old. Like, eventually I kind of came around to the puzzle things, because like you get so. Well, at least if you're using your gold and upgrading things, you get so good at just like mowing through enemies that it's not like necessarily becomes a challenge. And obviously Jared is playing it at harder difficulty. So
I was like, this shit's hard, man. I don't know about you, but this section specifically is fucking hard.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm also playing on Immortal, and this section's hard. It's hard for sure.
There was like a couple of occasions in this leg I died. I mean, specifically, we'll get to like when you're going through the Palathon and you're having to destroy all the enemies in the Palathon, there's like a room where you're just locked in with like 2 of the big hunky red dudes.
Yes. I died like 2 or 3 times in this fight. I used my limpets a lot there. I was like, let me slow these fuckers down because they are too fast. Will, do you have? Are you leaning one magic color over another? What squad are you at?
I was a big
He's
blue
teed
guy.
you up because he knows you. Oh, I thought you was a red guy.
No. We were talking a little bit on there because y'all had brought up the whole lash shotgun move, which I was like, oh yeah, I don't even really use the lash in combat. Like I used it a ton for the obviously moving around, and I felt like the parkour-ish or just the platforming in general was pretty good, especially in some of the feigns. But when it comes to combat, I laser focused in. I used the blue almost exclusively, unless one of the mages had a shield that made me use a different color. And then I would use the spell break totem, because whenever they go to use like a spell on you, it would do like 50%, and then later on I found one that did 100% damage by breaking their spell. So yeah, it was just like melting people that way. But I will say I played the majority of the game blue, and then towards the end I wanted to play around a little bit, so I respec'd. Respecking red, I went like full red. And yeah, it was nuts. I was just one-shotting people with the shotgun. I was like, oh, okay.
Red magic all the way. I'm actually, when I looked at my magic, I'm actually balanced between red and blue. Green is kind of my lower one, but I'm balanced between the 2 of them. But when I saw the screenshot, the most recent screenshot you posted in our group chat, Will, your blue is crazy high.
Yeah, the blue is like out of 27.
Your blue is like higher than all of your other magic. But I was like, well, I like using the blue, but I like the javelin. I really like using the javelin, and it requires you to be accurate, which sometimes is very difficult.
Green and red, baby. That's the combo.
I will say,
amen.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, Maelstrom LMG, hand Gatling gun. I will say this leg, I did get a new level of respect for the spell break totem, the red totem, especially against the green Magni. Like using it on the green Magni when they start charging up like one of their big spells. If you manage to spell break them when they're charging up that dome or like the fucking volley thing they do, if you can spell break them when they're doing that, it does a lot of damage and it gives you a chance to just kind of melt them. So I did get a bit of a respect for that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into these sections. Chapters 11.
Just curious about the combat thing, just not to cut you off too much, but did y'all have a particular favorite Fury, like the little R1 or like moves? Like I use Shadow, but towards the end, Bash a ton.
I use Bash all the time. Bash is like my number one because it's so strong. Damage. It's crazy strong. I use Bash and then whatever the I don't know what they move it, but the red magic, like you blast around you. I don't know what it's called. Blast. Yeah, Blast Wave.
So I used Blast Wave and I used Torrent, the green one, mainly because I have like a green sigil ring that does like 120% extra green fury damage or something. And I increased my red talents so that Blast Wave like knocks people back further. So it was kind of like if I was getting swarmed, I would like push people away. And then I got the other thing I got a big appreciation for in this leg was jumping, like double jumping and then hovering and kind of just like staying up in the air and being like,
I do that all the time. I'm trying to get away from combat as much as possible. I'm just floating above people, just shooting people down below.
Well, I'd never really used to. And then like especially when the red guys come after you, it's just like to be up in the air away from them is so much better.
Yeah. Guy, what about you? Are you leaning a certain
I don't know the names of anything. I don't know how you're paying attention to the names of like the 8,000 fucking menus. Green. I mean, I've already said this, but green and red are the two things that I use the most. But yeah, I mean, once again, green is just like having a Gatling gun, and then you just hover above everyone. And
I pull out green anytime an Archon comes out. The Archon fights is all green. I pull out green for the Archons. I sit back and
the big blue dudes that should
they open their face up and they should gem. I use the red laser thing and the green, and those are the two that I use when those guys pop out.
We need to be more descriptive when we say what things are, because once again, I'm not paying attention to any of the goddamn names in this game.
No
There's like 8,000 different names for things, but I don't fucking care. It's like
I don't know if any of you will kind of know because from what you just said, but I'm at the point now in this game where I'm starting to like things are clicking. Like lore is starting to set in. I'm remembering like names of enemies, like I remember character names, like it's all starting to feel more natural at this point.
I got there with the character names. I think lore wise I've kind of just accepted that like this is like a 20,000-year-old magic world that I don't really know much about. So when they're like, oh yeah, Oromon blew up, I'm like, okay, cool. Or like
exactly
in Notepad, Oromon blew up. Like, okay, cool.
Interesting. Logged. Okay. Don't know where that is or what that is or who that is, but it blew up.
Okay. Yep. The living penticide. I'm like, for sure, definitely. I know what that is.
Yes, that does sound like a drug. Don't take penticide.
Take daily penticide.
Very confused.
We still don't know what the penticide.
It's also
is.
There's the pentacade, the penticide. Then there's the fucking floating thing that we're in, which also starts with the P. There's too many goddamn P words. Allophon. It's like, how am I supposed to keep this shit together? I don't fucking. Ridiculous.
I can't imagine what the room of writers trying to come up with names for all this, how that was going together.
It's simple. Two words, Jared. 2 words.
Drugs.
Yes, and
yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, all of this stuff is like the pentacade and the palathon. Like all of that stuff is traditional. Like
we're talking about like ley lines and stuff like that. Is
it's all comes from previous, fucking whatever this genre is, whatever fantasy. Thank you. Like all previous fantasy writing, like has all this shit in it. They just put a lot of it fucking in there. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, let's get into chapters 11 through 15 now. Because like I said, there's a lot to discuss here. the end of the last episode, like we were saying, the big reveal was that Luna is the hand of Sandrakk. And Jack now is mind connected to her, where they can see each other and they can talk. They can't see things around each other, and they can't see.
Very convenient.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, convenient for the plot. That's what I'm. The lore happens when it's convenient for the plot. Don't ask questions. But Sandrakk has the Binding Stone, and our job now is the information we found out is the Shineforge either has the ability to have another Binding Stone or will give us the ability to destroy the Binding Stone. So that's where we're heading. That's also where Sandrakk and his whole army is heading too. So this first chapter is a massive firefight between the Rishardians and the Lucians here. And we talked about how this game looks pretty. This first cutscene where it's like the war of them jumping off the ships down into this was cool. This reminded me of like a Halo cutscene. Like this was really cool.
This is the bit, Kai, when you're like you jump down like fucking like
superhero landing, and all three.
Oh yes.
And you're essentially in like the trenches in front of the Shineforge. I gotta say, I fucking love this. I feel like the idea
is cool.
that it kind of went from like we're not just using magic to like fight enemies now. Like this is war. This is like magical warfare. There are like people away who are like casting healing spells. There are people front up using red magic. Like all of the magic kind of had its own place. Now, admittedly, gameplay wise, it didn't really change. We were kind of running around and mowing people down. But I think like at least thematically, I thought it was cool to be like, oh, okay, like this is the Red Brigade and they are the vanguard. They go in and they blast people, and this is the Green Brigade and they stay back and they heal. Like it was interesting to see that.
I like to only have red magic. You're just always the front line. Constantly.
You're just cannon fodder. That is like
I did shoot at my teammates a lot because I couldn't figure out who was who.
They had the little green arrow. You didn't see the
arrow. You're right. They did have the green arrow.
That is one of the things about this game is that A, there's a lot going on, but B, because it's all color based, it's just a cacophony of like bright LED color constantly. It's like okay.
I don't know if you felt this. It wasn't too bad here, Will, but this is kind of the beginning of these firefights just being like a massive horde of enemies. Like this is kind of where it starts. And again, playing on Immortal, it's not too bad here, but eventually some of these fights are you're just overwhelmed is the problem. You're just overwhelmed with like things that are attacking you, shooting you from a distance, healing other enemies too. I don't know if you felt that way too, Will.
That's exactly how I felt with this one. Like you said, it's not too bad because you have some allies with you, so they get to spread some of the attention. And I kind of looked over a couple of times. You will actually have your allies fight stronger enemies like the Oathbreakers and take attention of like aggro from them. So that's kind of cool. But no, when it's just you fighting 20 guys on Immortal and like half of them, like you said, are healing. Like I had to focus the green Magni, I had to focus the red Magni because they would heal themselves and they would heal other people. And I was just, if I don't actually fight them, it's a war of attrition until I run out of stones. So I started getting a little nuts from here on out.
And I'm desperately looking for healing or the magic orbs around the area just so I can not die.
The pain in my heart when I run towards something that glitters, thinking it's a health crystal when it's in fact just gold.
It is unfortunate.
We'll get to the fight later, but we talked about the two, and I forgot their names, but the two big guys with the axes that we fight later on. I had that fight and I had one of them at 1 HP and I had 1 HP as well. And I was running to a healing crystal and I died as I was right before I was able to grab one and heal myself. And it was so sad. I was so frustrated.
They hit like a fucking ton of bricks. What did someone say they were called the Oathbreaker or something?
Oathbreakers, this is also our first boss fight with the Red Magnus we have here, which the Red Magnus is interesting compared to the other two that kind of like sit back and throw magic. The Red Magnus feels like a firebender. She is in your face, just like doing kicks and punches and everything. So it was interesting to kind of change up how I was approaching gameplay with this new boss, where this is very close quarters. I was using the blast wave. I was using a lot of that. I was actually utilizing whip in this section more to just kind of get away from her when she like rushed and aggroed me a lot.
Now, what I will say too with the Red Magnus is nice is because they're more just on the ground, focused in your face. I don't know if you've tried it out, but the vortex move where you kind of like pull them in together, that actually works on them, as opposed to like the green and the blue Magni it doesn't work on. So I was to a point where I
What
have to, like,
vortex
over a
move?
pit.
Yeah, what's the vortex?
That comes into when's that? That's not super late in. I thought that was like a chapter 10 when you get that one right before.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I think doesn't.
Is it the Bee Fury? Is it that one?
It's the Bee Fury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
No, because that's. Okay,
We have
okay. I could
we
be
have
tweaking
4
out.
Furies. We have
How
like
about right before you go to
the
Thaddeus, you get that one. Because I remember getting that one inside the castle right before going to see Thaddeus inside his like.
You obtain Vortex Fury by completing the Lattice Fane that is hidden in the Orman map.
Oh, so you have to just complete one of the phases. It's a side
okay,
thing.
that's funny. I didn't realize that was a side thing. Okay,
I don't have that. So
yeah, for a second, I was like, no, I didn't go ahead. I was like, I swore I used that before I got to this point. Okay, so boom, explore a little bit, right? So you get a Vortex Fury, and it allows you to pull enemies in together.
Okay.
And that's one that allows you to like pull her and lock her into place, so she's not, like you said, jumping into your face and beating the hell out of you. But other than that, very tough.
The Fanes are cool because they're kind of either sometimes they're like a side platforming challenge or it's like an enemy gauntlet. And apparently I didn't know that, but you get abilities that you would rather not have if you don't complete those. And there's some of them that are red that are super hard. It's like 6 of these bosses that you have to fight to, which I tried one. Impossible. They summon like 5 Archon and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fight this.
I did one. So they're called like the 6, and they're like supposed to be the 6 strongest Magni that are in Rasharn.
Yeah.
And I found one towards the end of this, like in chapter 15, I think it was. And it was like the den of somebody. And I went, it was just a 1v1. And this dude fucking one-shot me. Oh, well. And I was like, cool, not ready for this whatsoever. Okay, let me leave.
In classic fashion of how I play these games, I'm not doing anything that's not a requirement for me to complete the game. So, absolutely.
You said no thank you for that.
No, thank you.
I've done a couple of the things, but I always seem to get like increased mana or increased health. I've never found a fucking
actual ability.
The majority of them, you get increased, like you get the Radiant Stone, or you get like the Mana Stone, and then some of them will give you weapons, like a higher level weapons. But yeah, I think that might be the only one that's so funny. I was sitting here, it's like, there's no way in hell
You're like, oh no, did I spoil something? Did I think too far ahead?
Oh no, I was just spending too much time exploring, and I found the one thing that's outside of it.
Another thing that is convenient for the plot is only Triarchs can enter this area, which is a good thing we have Jack around because Jack can enter this. And this is the area again where this whole structure is for the architecture is the Arstinians. Arstinians, I think, is like the ancient civilization that created all of this. And I have no. That's only why I know this. I didn't remember the Arstinians.
He's like, off the
all
dome,
I got from it, all I got from it was some ancient magical race that got greedy with magic and went extinct. That was the impression.
Well, even at the end, we see like a hologram of this big dude, or from what we see, and Jack's like, "Oh my god, are you an Arstinian?" I'm like, "Yep, that's him. He must be that guy because that is who's showing up here." And we get an interesting choice where he gives Jack an option of being able to either A, destroy the Binding Stone, or B, use it for himself. And this is kind of the hubris of the protagonist, where Jack was just like, you know what? If I have the thing the bad guy has, I can beat the bad guy.
Do you know what stops a bad guy with a gun, Jared?
Yes, exactly.
An even worse guy with a fucking Binding Stone.
Which is wild because like this entire time, this actually surprised me because Jack seemed like the guy that would do the opposite of this. He's seen kind of the destruction of the world and everything. He's kind of been on the fence. He's even questioned Kirkan on things that she's done too. In my mind, he was a smart person to be like, no, we destroy this. We have to destroy this.
It didn't make sense for me personally because, I mean, we spoke about it last episode, but like the whole thing that happened at Nocia, where they were supposed to be on these neutral ground, and Sandrakk just like imploded this civilization, and all these people died. Like that seemed to kind of weigh on Jack. So then, for Jack to be like, "Oh, I'm going to be able to wield the power that just like destroyed this entire neutral zone and killed thousands of people,"
it's just nukes.
It's just
it's basically just kind of
it's just nukes. And instead of being like, we should do disarmament, he's like, I want my own nuke. I want my nuke, which is like dumb, but whatever. So is the rest of the story of this game, so it's unsurprising.
It also doesn't make sense because I think, like Jared said, I don't know if it's like we're thinking too logically or what, but like you know, you have this thing that's kind of whoever has the Binding Stone has the power to literally like control the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, if Jack's whole thing is stopping the Everwar, the easiest way to stop the Everwar would be
destroying the thing.
To stop the thing that lets somebody control all of fucking magic.
Yes.
You would think this would be something that Kirkan would want. You think that she would want the Binding Stone, not have the Binding Stone destroyed, because that's very much her personality. Is like, we need the power. We need the power versus having him have the power. But yeah, it's an interesting choice that Jack decides to, and then he doesn't say anything either. He decides to keep it to himself, not saying that he, at least for the time being, they eventually find out that he did not destroy the Binding Stone and in fact has the Binding Stone. But he does decide to keep it, which again, it feels a little opposite of Jack's personality, but
so like here's when he gets the mark that allows him to destroy it, right?
Yes.
And then in quite fashion of the game, very conveniently, the holographic machine, whatever it was that gave him the mark to destroy the stone, implodes and destroys itself. But then we don't get the Binding Stone until the giant mech, the Pacific Rim fight.
The Pacific Rim fight, where we fight Sandrakk, which is interesting.
Which is crazy. So like we go back and we're like, cool, we've got this mark. And Kirkan's like, okay, right, we have been doing some scrying magic or something, and they've basically tracked down. Oh no,
his hand can feel it.
Yeah,
he has GPS in his hand, and he can detect where the Binding Stone.
Are you taking the Binding Stone? Oh god, don't actually do that. No.
And he basically, they say like, okay, right, we're going to amass this army and we're going to go and track down Sandrakk, and then it turns out the army is like a fucking Pacific Rim robot that you climb inside.
I want to talk about leading into the transition into chapter 12 here. They're all preparing for this big fight. They're preparing for this big fight that's going to happen. And there's a scene where Devin, Zendara, and Jack are all drinking.
I forgot about this.
Classic.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, beer pong. It's what mages do.
The magic green or beer pong. I don't know why, but this was funny to me. Like this was like just campy enough where I thought it was funny.
It was, but then it's so weird, right? Because I think the main takeaway from it, at least for me, was like we get reasoning from Zendara as to why she hates the Lightless, and we find out that where she was from, there was a Lightless who didn't know that they had
their magic,
couldn't control their magic, didn't know they had magic inside of them, and effectively like exploded and destroyed the town that she's from. And so she's like, you know, since then, all of you Lightless are effectively like a walking bomb that could go off at any time, and so that's why I don't like you. And then fucking Devin. Oh my god.
Will, do you have any feelings towards Devin? Not to give you a leading question.
Yeah, not to get too crazy, but I know when I first was introduced to Devin, I was like, oh, he's gonna be like the annoying ass character, you know? Super quippy.
You were correct. And then you know what they did?
You guy.
they went, what if Devin but a woman? And then they doubled down and gave us fucking Kelsey.
Kenzie,
whatever her name is.
Yeah. God, Kenzie's the worst.
And also extremely horny. Is like
she's like in our room on our bed, like high hot stuff, and I'm like, okay, hold on, Kenzie.
Like, well, chill. What kind of game is this? And then nothing happens.
You of all people, Jared. You crave romance.
Yeah, but Kenzie, I'm fine. I'm okay.
He said I'm fine. He's like, there was no romance here. She just showed up in my bed.
It's also weird though, because like she was so horny for Zendara, and then all of a sudden she's like in Jack's room.
I mean, she was horny for us first.
Yeah, initially when we first saw her, she was making like little flirty.
I didn't really get that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she said she calls us hot and says we're attractive, and then I mean, there's even a line that Jack says where he's like, someone says it where it's like they mention that they're like, I think she because Devin is like, I think she's smitten to you, and then you go, I think she's smitten with everyone. like that's her. Their trope.
But the whole time that this kind of like drinking situation's happening, I mean, one is so fucking out of left field. They basically decide that they're just gonna go and get drunk because they're like not buddy enough.
Which is like a bad like imagine you're like, I'm about to go to war. I need to be on my A game. I should probably get a good night's sleep. And then you
Let's
get
have a
absolutely
hangover.
fucking blasted to like go into bed. Like that seems like a bad plan.
You're like, how the fuck did a bird get in here?
On it, I love that.
World.
That was funny. Like, so part of this was funny. Logistically, it doesn't make sense because you're right. You would think you'd all be on your A game, but I don't know.
It is funny, but it also it kind of had that same. I don't think it's like a cringiness with the Rook scene. I think like these scenes almost feel like they were like written by somebody who like kind of thinks they know how social interactions work, but isn't kind of like fully in tune with how social interactions work.
Yes, this is written by someone who's never had a successful social interaction. They're like, okay, everyone has animus towards each other, but somehow they still like each other, and then you just keep drinking.
And I would bet good money that the person who wrote the Rook scene wrote this drinking scene
100%,
because it carries the same energy.
Same energy for sure. I don't know. This scene was a little more endearing than the Rook scene. The Rook scene, I was just like, what is happening? What is going on? I don't know. Maybe
the whole time this was happening, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, not even like forget the military logistics of it. I was just like,
I would say, like, them drinking together, I do think is endearing. One of the cheers, cute. 18 of them repeatedly got old real quick. I was like,
yeah,
I get it. I mean, this cutscene was like 5 minutes long.
Yeah,
like it was not short, and like they just kept making the same joke over and over again. It was just like, we're drunk
again.
Yeah,
again. Yeah. Ben had mentioned multiple times a Pacific Rim battle, and almost to the exact extent, because we pull up in a literal like massive mech, and you kind of get the scale of it as it's walking up, but as the soldier kind of like opens up the port where we walk in and you walk towards it, you're like barely tiny little part of this thing's leg that you're walking into, and it is massive. This thing is huge.
Yes. I don't understand this at all.
They were just like, we found a colossal. And I'm like,
but they found a colossal, but then like the whole thing, this whole level is like maneuvering around the colossal where they built a bunch of like decks. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why do you have paths? Like, if this was meant to be controlled, it clearly has controls. Wouldn't the people who built it make like it work without having to build a bunch of wooden decks onto it? Like,
I guess you're right. These are one of those things where like I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I'm just like I'm just running around. But you're right. The inside of this thing is mechanically impressive and huge, but there is just like wooden platforms around it. But it's convenient for the gameplay.
And then they built like elevators, but the elevators are also wood. It's very confusing. I was lost.
It's also crazy to be like, right, time is of the essence. Let's get in a giant mech and slowly wade through the ocean when we could just like get on a fucking ship and fly.
But that wouldn't, it's cooler if you do it this way.
Also, if this, like, turned into like if it like would like went down and was like a giant boat but actually a person or something, but it's just like slowly like walking through the ocean one step at a time.
And this is really nitpicky, and I'm very sorry for bringing this up, but there's a scene right when you talk to the captain and they're like, where are we going? And he's like, northeast 5 knots. Knots are not a measurement of distance. Knots are a measurement of speed, and 5 knots is like, I think 8 miles an hour. So like, I don't, does he know how fast it goes? 5 knots is very slow. Does he need to like take his time? It just seemed like someone who is like, well, we're in the ocean, so we need to use the measurement of speed for ocean, but also
the ocean word
distance. And I'm like, I don't understand what this means.
I don't think they did much either.
I mean,
no, they
legitimacy of the actual mech aside, I think one thing this game does well is kind of like playing around with the verticality in combat, and you do a lot of that in this fight. I think having like I love the verticality in this game. I don't know if you guys opened the map in this section too, but it shows like a
map.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used the
There's like a blueprint diagram of
it's in the pause menu to like upgrade all your
don't you open the map first and then have to switch over to
it always opens on the lore page with all the fucking people.
It's like, please fucking read our lore.
It always opens on the guy. It always opens on like whatever the newest lore is whenever I hit the pause menu.
If you get like a lore fin, but if you just open it when you don't get a lore fin, it opens on a map and then it goes gear and then talents. I think it is.
Not paid attention to the map. I mean, honestly, there's no reason to pay attention to a map in this game because it's completely fucking linear. So
it's like, yeah, Will, how did you feel about this level? Again, like a ton of verticality in this.
Yeah, the verticality was nice. They're just doing the little lash. Like I said, that's the main time I get my lash in is when I'm doing a lot of the platforming. But yeah, now I feel bad now. Kai bringing up very smart points about like, oh, why this stuff? I guess in my head I was thinking, okay, they said they found one and fixed it up, so they just left on all of the
little parts
scaffolding that they were working on. But I was like, but then like, why would they? I don't know, why wouldn't the robot break it when it was moving? And I was like, you know what, video game. So
video game.
I mean, this is my problem and my curse on this entire series, which is logic.
I will say, like, as we're going along, like you're traveling towards like where it is, and Jack's kind of like guiding this robot fin using his hand.
Avon's point,
and
is where we're going.
Yeah, we're basically going along on like the Rashanians attack, right? That's what happens is it all kicks off. I did like that bit. I know we was like outside, but I like when the game has allies on my team fighting other enemies, when it's not just me versus everybody, and it's kind of like there's a group of us and like there's a lot of one-to-one fights happening. Like I like that.
I agree. Again, it's not too bad here, but again, this is slowly setting me up to be very overwhelmed in some of these fights. Like this is kind of a little taste of kind of the overwhelming combat, but even in this we have allies. We get to a point where we essentially have the same amount of enemies we're fighting, except it's just us, and we are the only people that have to fight. And like Kai said, it is very overstimulating because there's a lot of colors and there's a lot of, if you're like photosensitive in this game, I don't know if there was a warning, maybe there is a warning, but there should be if there isn't, because there's so many.
There's just an accessibility control to get rid of all the color. It's just like everything is
black and white.
Black and white, yeah.
Dude, play this game on hard mode and don't know what color enemies to use for your color.
That would be complicated.
Yeah. Or you say something, Kai?
Go for it.
No, I think Will was going to pop off.
Oh, just as far as the combat inside the mech itself too. Like the mech itself is super dark on the inside. So when you are fighting those 20, 15 different guys shooting a bunch of different colors at you, it's like I feel like I'm just getting flashbanged constantly by red Magnus, yellow, and I'm yellow Magnus. She's going to the sequel, blue, green, etc. Just like shooting you all over. So, but I think all in all, though, getting through the entirety of the kind of bottom to the top of the mech itself was pretty fun. Just kind of like worming your way along.
Yeah, for sure.
It is fun. I think the one thing I've learned now is like, although the game tells you to progress through the areas, you have to defeat the enemies first. So like,
I tried doing this as well.
The whole point is you have to get to the control room. So I was like, cool. Well, let me just book it to the control room.
It's confusing because there are sections where you can do that.
Yeah,
like there are sections where you can just like run through them and get to the next point and like close the door, get to the next section, and then there's sometimes where that doesn't work, and it's like
I
be consistent.
I only tried it once. We have to go back to the Caldera eventually. To that section,
and it won't let you open the fucking door. It's very annoying.
I had one healing crystal, and there's a lot of enemies in that, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just run to the door." And I got to the door and was just backed up against the door, and I was like, "Shit, I can't go through this door now."
Now I know this isn't really a game where your choices matter at all, but before we get into the actual fighting part of the Colossus, you have that section where you're talking to Devin and you have some options you can choose how you confront Sandrakk, since he's been calling you a whelping pup over and over.
I forgot about this.
Do you want to say something back to him? I can help you put together like a fun little,
I would not be going to Devin for my quips.
Yeah, Devin is not the person.
Another cringe ass scene. Yes.
I was like, did y'all remember what you did, or did you really even care? It was just like,
yes, geriatric.
I did geriatric.
I did go for the old Finn. I think
geriatric. Windbag.
I did windbag. Okay, good.
Geriatric windbag.
Yeah, it's one of those. Again, it's one of those scenes where like it just went on a little too long. It was like we spent a little too much time doing this, and I was like, again, it's like the drinking scene. Like, isn't there more important things we should be doing right now to try to come up with
strategizing?
Like Jack felt serious about this when he walked up. He's like, "Devin, I need to talk to you about something." And I'm like, "Oh shit, it's a strategy." And he's like, "I need." He's like, "Sandrakk had a cool one-liner to me, and I want a one-liner to him too." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I see.
Yeah. And you don't even use it. That's the shitty part. You do this whole thing.
Also, the context of it is like, I'm a dumb guy who never went to school. Can you help me with words? Like that is literally how he starts that conversation. He's like that.
Devin's smart man with college degree. Help with words, yes. Devin's like, I know words.
Devin pisses me off later in this section.
Devin pisses everybody off.
But like he was already fucking annoying, but his behavior later on, we'll get to it.
I don't want to spoil my feelings, but I kind of came around to Devin a little bit.
No, what do you mean you came around to him?
Yeah,
he betrays us.
Isn't that like Stockholm?
I don't think he betrays us. I'm pretty sure that
he betrays us, and then immediately forgives us when it's convenient for him, which is really fucking annoying.
Sandrakk has found the font, which is at the bottom of the ocean, which has separated the ocean around him, which super cool scene.
Big Moses energy.
Big Moses energy. We split the lava. Yeah, it was like we split the lava in last week's episode. But I don't remember if it was in the episode or before the recording, but Zendara and Jack do fly down to fight Sandrakk, and we haven't been able to fly before, and we can now. So I mean,
can now for this scene in particular, and then
when
never
it's
again.
Convenient for the lore.
It is weird because like you don't take any fall damage. Like if you jump off something and land, you don't take any fall damage. So like lore wise, there was no need for Jack could have just jumped and landed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, or even he could do the thing that I like do, like is like you jump and then you do the double jump just before you land. So you sort of like you're like up and then you're almost like breaking your own fall, or use the shield if you want to go real fucking cliche.
Or if you want to have a good moment that's actually funny and not cringe, you have a moment where he goes to Zara. He's like, "How are we going to get down there?" And she says, "Hop on," and then you like hop on her back. She flies you down, and she flies you down. You ride the jacked mommy down to the ground because you can't fly, and then it's like, okay, more consistent and funny. But they didn't
I like Kai's idea better. I want to ride the muscle mommy into battle. That's what I want.
They didn't let us ride the muscle mommy into battle, and that is a missed opportunity. If we're
studios, come on.
Sandrakk fight, I liked.
I liked it too.
I actually like the Sandrakk fight. Yeah,
glad we're on the same.
I gotta say, because it did the thing that Kai wasn't in the episode, but like the what was it called, the exalted construct or whatever the big.
You have to use all of your specific magic for all the specific parts and everything. Yeah,
and that was cool because it was like, okay, like he's got a blue shield around him. I need to use my blue magic. I need to use my blue fury, and I kind of have to combat with what he's using. And like, because I mean, I'm not so much now. I have got used to changing colors and kind of using specific colors against specific enemies. But at least for like the first maybe like leg and a half, I was just brute forcing green magic on everything.
That's just gonna make your experience hard. You can do that, but it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard.
I don't think you'd be able to do that against Sandrakk though. And I liked the idea of kind of like we were like trading blows with him, like if he went shield and stuff, like I said. So I liked it, and it kind of gave this like, again, I don't know, they're kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it, but like it gave this feeling of like only Jack could take on Sandrakk.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to build off of. I mean, everyone wants to kind of we have a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender references in this. Like we are the Avatar. This is like the idea of like Korra and Aang fighting. These are the two like triarchs. These are the only ones that we know of that are here. And both of us using our full scale of our different colored magic to combat each other was really cool. And on top of this, there's also other enemies that you have to fight too. And what's funny is Sandrakk will use moves that will kill his own people too, which I thought was funny. But no, this was cool.
Radical, and then on him, then you grab it from him, and whenever they spawn in the ads, you just melt everybody. Yeah, that felt
you do. You have like a whole
fantasy there.
You have a whole section, don't you? Yeah, where you're using the binding stone. Yeah,
exactly. And it pretty much just amps up your Dominion move that you already have and allows you to just melt through people. So like it'll drop down 5 oath breakers at the same time, which normally I'd be shitting myself. And then
you just
like
melt
them. My God.
Yeah. I love this back and forth struggle too, because Jack also like can use the binding stone. So like going back and forth between like Sandrakk using it, and then Jack getting the upper hand, taking the Binding Stone from Sandrakk, him using it, and kind of the back and forth of them using it to amplify their power, I thought was cool too. And again, it's just like we are using a lot of our movement abilities as well, because he has this like spirit bomb that he lays down, which when it's plummeting towards the earth, it takes damage if you take damage if you're on the ground. So like having to hover and use our movement abilities, and I use the dash a lot in here, although I still think the dash is not a great ability. I wish it like got me a little further.
Oh, you mean the sidestep? Yeah, like they called it the blink, but it's not really. You kind of just
it's the
sidestep to the side.
Exactly. If it could be a little further, and I was hoping in like the upgrades and the skill tree there'd be a way of like extending that, and there's not, unfortunately.
It's not a range extension, but there is some cool stuff with it. I will say with the blink, they have it to where, and I got really good with that. Your shield, when your shield breaks, if you blink, it'll give you like 50% of your shield back. So I got to the point where I could just have my shield up the entire fight, because it'd be like it would shatter, it would push enemies away, and then I would blink and it would come back 50%. I'd pull it back up. I would just do that over and over again.
Yeah, I think my problem was I was trying to use it to like kind of close the gap between me and somebody else, like get close. I'm red magic. I'm using red magic a lot, which is doesn't have a ton of range. So I'm trying to get close. And after this fight, I started using it just when I don't want to get hit. Cause you kind of have like little iframes, so you can like dodge and move. And I've been just using it as dodge instead of like movement, which is definitely helped.
Now, when talking with Sandrakk and having these interactions, even before now, but this one especially, it started to kind of hit me. How do y'all feel about how Ascendant did with his like writing overall, like his tone, how he spoke to you? Does he come off a little like smarmy, or is he actually decently written on your end? Because I had some banger lines against Jack on this.
I was gonna say, I think out of all the characters in this game, I think I like Sandrakk's like delivery the best. One of the things I really loved in I think is the first episode or the last episode, where we reveal that Sandrakk is just a dude. He is an immortal like us. He is not just like bad guy to be bad guy. He has like reasons and motivations. Like I think Sandrakk is kind of the most fleshed out character that we have in this game, and I think his writing reflects that too.
My only criticism of Sandrakk as a character is that, and this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit, there's a lot of alluding to his motivation, but it's never explicit. Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of things, and there's like, because you're talking to Luna, and Luna's like, Sandrakk's good, he has a plan, and like it's a good plan, and we love the plan, and the plan is nice. And it's like, what is the fucking plan? Explain us the plan. Like, tell me what the plan is.
Yeah.
I think Sandrakk does something like, and I'm going to make a comparison, but I'm not putting them on the same level whatsoever. But like Vars from Far Cry 3 done this as well. The calm, cool, collected bad guy, where like no matter what you do, he doesn't really like, he kind of shouts a little bit as he starts to get annoyed, but he never kind of goes like fully aggressive, fully berserk. Like he's always very, like I think you said like smarmy. That's like a good kind of like, he's very condescending, and he's very like, he's a Triarch. He knows he's a fucking Triarch. He knows that he is special, like, and he knows he has the ability to use the Binding Stone to get these fonts, and like he has an arrogant confidence about him that I think comes off like really well.
Yeah. I think there's something like endearing about a confident bad guy that's not just like, generic evil laugh, I'm gonna kill everybody kind of confident, where he's just like you said, he's very cool and collected, where he's just kind of calm the whole time, and he knows that he can pretty much beat all of these people. Where I mean, as we learn, that actually isn't the case. Sandrakk's kind of on the back foot. Rosharnian's kind of on the back foot of all of this, and he's trying to kind of take shortcuts to get ahead. But his demeanor never seems like that. It always seems like Rosharn and Sandrakk are always like one step ahead. Like they're always like one step ahead of us at all times. And I think that reflects
a little bit. Where like he's not your rival. It's like you just keep showing up to things he wants to do. So you're like a fly. He even had the line there where he's like, "You see me as your enemy because I don't see you at all." And I'm like, "Damn, like, all right."
Yeah, he does have some fucking shit. He says.
That's true.
The one thing I will say about Sandrakk, and it's not a criticism of him, is like I feel like they done the end of this fight really dirty. Like
it was too easy to beat him.
Yeah, not like that, because like it all kind of starts to go off, right? And like we end up with the Binding Stone, and then it's been a couple of days since I played this, so I might be misremembering. But my remembering of the end of the fight is like it's all kind of going off. We get the binding stone, and then the fist just comes down and like punches him into the ground.
Yeah.
That was
And I was like,
gets swallowed by the sea.
Okay, like that's kind of like,
Well,
and then we jump on and he gets swallowed by the sea.
Well, we learned that he slips himself into the, what is it called?
Shadow realm.
So before anything happens,
can you guys hear any of this shit that's going on in all this banging?
Yeah, it's somebody knocking around in there.
Jesus, someone's fucking doing like cartwheel or something upstairs.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like because you get pulled in as Jack into the Shrouded Realm there too, and that's like I had it marked in my notes like a Pentasod jump scare. It's kind of like out in the distance, and then like when it knows you're there, like zooms into your face. I was like, oh,
really was a jump scare. I was like, oh shit, he zooms into you, and I was like, oh damn.
Yeah. And it's something Jack points out later on is like it's whenever the fonts get absorbed, because this is the second time that Sandrakk's absorbed the font, and then we've ended up in the Shrouded Realm. But yeah, I mean, at this moment, we don't know Sandrakk isn't dead. The fight ends with the giant mech fist coming down and punching him into the ground. And basically, Devon's like, the font's been absorbed. The ocean's sort of coming back in. You need to get into the robot. And so we jump into the robot, and then away we go.
And leading into chapter 14, Devon tells us that Kirkan is pissed that clearly we did not destroy the Binding Stone. In fact, we had the Binding Stone the entire time. And even though we did defeat Sandrakk, they are still upset that we have the Binding Stone and didn't destroy the Binding Stone. And again, it's just like this back and forth, which
we didn't have the Binding Stone.
We do have the Binding
Stone. Sandrakk had the Binding Stone. We had the mark, and then we take it right at the end from the Battle with Sandrakk.
Yeah, and then but the mission was we were supposed to go and destroy it.
No, I understand, but we didn't have it the whole time. That's what we were going to track down in the ocean was to get the Binding Stone. We took the Binding Stone, and then we were like, we had.
But then look, guys, we have we're bringing it home.
Kirkan is pissed because our mission was to go and destroy it, and we didn't. We brought it back to the Palathon,
which just makes sense.
And she rips Zendaya. I'm going to keep going to call her Zendaya. She rips Zendara a new one. And I just kind of stood there the whole time like, this is bullshit. And that's really loud.
I'm sorry.
I know it matches the military and the way they go, but like she starts ripping into Zendara and she's like, your mission was to get him to destroy it. Like, can you not control him? Like, was I not clear about what the objective was?
Clearly not.
And Jack's like, hang on a minute. And she basically is just like, shut the fuck up, child. Like, chain of command. I'm having to go at your superior officer. I'll get to you. And you're like, oh, fuck.
That was crazy. It was like,
she's mad.
Okay.
Yeah, she's real mad.
And then I don't understand this other than setting up plot. Because we now have said Binding Stone, and instead of destroying said Binding Stone like she wanted done, she orders us to go and put it in the vault.
We can't. We can't.
We don't have the power.
We either were given the choice to use it or destroy it.
She says, "You're going when we bring the Binding Stone back." She goes, "You're going back to the shrine. And you're getting the mark to destroy it." And we say, "We can't do that. It's already destroyed." And she goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And we're like, "Well, it kind of crumpled into pieces." And she's like, "Put it in the vault."
Yeah, we don't have an option of destroying it because we don't have a way of kind of reversing our choice because the whole area is destroyed anyway. So
you're right. I was misremembering that. Yes, so we don't have the ability to destroy it, which makes sense then.
But why you would
put it in the vault?
Put it in the vault in the Pantheon or the Parthenon or wherever the fuck we are.
It's crazy. The safest place. I mean, I can't think of anywhere else where it would be okay to have it.
Well, we learn real quick it was not the safest place.
Surprise.
I mean, to be fair, in the game's defense, given how Sandrakk finds the stone in a little while, it wouldn't have mattered where we fucking put it because he would have found it regardless.
Yeah.
Why don't they just do the Lord of the Rings thing and throw it into the fucking
into the lava?
Yeah, into
the caldera and just
toss caldera of death.
It in there.
Yeah.
So this is like the scene afterwards. Like we throw it, like we put it in the vault. And then is this when Devon calls us and is like, you need to come and see me immediately?
Yes.
And
he's very
we
annoying.
go to the scrying room, which I thought was cool. Like the idea that like you can walk into a place and just be like,
kind of like shut it down and like
room activate scrying mode.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate this, dislike this, because like I said, Devin was working on like the security for the Palathon, and he overhears Jack talking to a Rashani. He's talking to Jesus, bro. I don't know what they're doing.
Well,
They're
he has no idea who we're talking
Yeah,
to. We tell him who we're talking to.
Yeah, because it looks like I'm just talking to yourself, but you're saying a bunch of like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Da-da-da-da." It was like a bunch of very shady things, which someone who's on the security team would be like, "Who the hell are you talking to right now?"
Yeah. And he thinks that Jack is like, is Jack a spy? Are you spying on us? Are you only here to spy on us?
But if he thought that, because he's like, I'm gonna think about what I need to do and tell Kirkan, and it's like, if you think someone's spied, you should have told Kirkan. Like that should have been the first thing you do.
But don't you think if like you had a friend, then like you would feel a little conflicted on like actually telling?
Well, clearly he's not a friend because he fucking exiled him out of out of the Parthenon.
He puts you in timeout. He says you should go.
I think he was giving us a heads up. He's like, I'm probably going to tell Kirkan, so you should just leave.
I mean,
now. Like,
let's be honest. This is treason. Like, if Kirkan finds out, Jack's getting killed. Like,
everyone in this game is bad. no one is good.
That is correct.
I know, but I agree with that. But if you're bad against the people you're supposed to be serving, that is treason. Like, they're gonna kill Jack for it.
Yeah. And as we're leaving, we find out Thaddeus is alive. He wasn't dead at all. He got blasted in the belly, and he's cool.
Hey, kid, I always keep a healing stone on me.
Always keep a healing stone on.
I'm like, me too. I got 4 at all times, buddy. So I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he comes to us in like a mind vision, and
similar to Luna when we were
as well. He doesn't understand how it happened, but he can see when Luna and Jack talk. Or like he hears it or something. Like they're all it's like polyamorous or something. Like the 3 of them are like connected.
We're a throuple.
Which doesn't that mean Luna can hear when they talk?
Well, I think that's why Devin is so concerned, is because if in theory, Luna can hear anything at any time that Jack is saying.
Yeah.
So like, how does he keep a military secret?
Well, no.
Safe?
I think they can only hear when they're speaking to each other, but it means that Luna can hear what he's saying to Thaddeus, because Thaddeus can't hear what Jack is saying at all times. He can only hear what Jack is saying to Luna.
Yeah, that's how she knows, because we eventually try to track down Sandrakk, who is alive. By the way, we find out that Sandrakk is alive, and Luna knows that we're going to go and essentially try to take down an injured Sandrakk because of that.
Yeah, because so basically, Thaddeus is like, you need to get to me. So we go to Thaddeus. And Rook's there, and Rook is basically like
just like chilling in the hot tub.
Rook is like, I know he's alive because I can smell the shrouded realm on him.
Convenient.
And then basically Thaddeus gives us a map and is like, you should use this map to like find where he is. That was my understanding.
Yeah.
I can't remember the map part.
Is this where he shows us? Is this where he shows us he like takes us into the? No, that was before. That's how we got to fucking talk to Luna. How does he tell us where to go?
He gives us a map,
like a physical map.
Yeah, like a physical like paper map that looks like
it's like, are you gonna take a left at fucking?
If you go too far, we also get the ability, which I haven't made this comparison yet. We get the ability to, throughout the game, we've seen like these blue like hologram walls we can't get through, and now if we melee, we can punch through them.
Yes,
and this whole game feels very like Ratchet and Clank to me, where you're like getting abilities, you're seeing older things, like Will said, very Metroidvania in the sense of like you can't access areas, and then later down the line you'll get access to different abilities and different powers that let you access that area, which I think is.
I was slightly underwhelmed by the lack of shattering when you punch these blue fade fins. You punch them, and then they kind of just like Premiere Pro dissolve away, and then they're not there anymore. There's no real kind of. I was expecting like a proper, like we are like destroying a magic barrier. I was expecting like an actual sort of like punch explosion, like we've cracked through. Interestingly, you can use these later on the enemies that hold blue shields. You can use it on them, and it like knocks them backwards as well.
Oh, I did not know you can use them on blue shields. That's
I never
cool.
got close enough
it's any blue barrier, I think, basically. I think
that's
might
cool.
be wrong.
But yeah, Sandrakk is still alive. He survived by sliding into the shadow realm.
To the DM.
This is what I was This is what I was going to say. Is it makes sense what you were saying about how Luna could hear Thaddeus and Jack, because as we're approaching the cave, we make our way back into this like underdwelly place, and Jack says this thing out loud. He's like, Luna, if you can hear me, you know I'm coming.
Yeah.
You know what I have to do. And like I thought that was weird, but I guess now reflecting on it, like if Thaddeus could hear them, then she can hear him and Thaddeus. So she already knew what was happening.
Yes. And then we go find Sandrakk. And he's floating in the air, limp and lifeless,
as everyone does, as one does. This is kind of where we cut
working on him, right?
I guess. I'm not sure what they were really doing. He was just kind of like upside down,
party around him,
upside down, floating, and then was perfectly fine a second later. So very, very strange. But yes, Sandrakk is floating upside down in the room, getting healed by Luna and some other magi, I assume. And then we're like, Luna's essentially like, don't kill him. He has a plan. His plan is a plan. It's a good plan. We don't know what it is, but it is a plan. And then we're like, no, we need to stop this. And then Sandrakk makes a glowing red hand and is like, time to die. And then Luna vaguely protects us. And that's kind of the scene with Sandrakk, essentially.
Well, yeah, this is when he basically is now back at full power and
very quickly
is like, where are you hiding in the stone? And I guess because he's got the mark the same as Jack, and how Jack found it using his hand like, GPS, he can do the same. And then he like opens a tear in reality and like steps through the tear in reality and goes to he knows it's in the Palathon vault, so he just heads to the Palathon.
Also, our mark is the most convenient like plot tool of all time. It's like you can use the mark to destroy or absorb the stones. You can use the mark to go through portals that people have opened. You can use the mark to free bonds from people who have magic handcuffs on. It's very convenient.
Good MacGuffin.
I will say there was one piece of dialogue that happened that probably at first I kind of felt was a bit cringy, but then afterwards I was like, that's probably how I would react in that moment. Is like Sandrakk goes through the green portal to go to the Palathon, and Jack follows him through. He puts his hand through the portal and then gets sucked through, and then the portal closes, and Luna's just there, and she goes, "Well, shit." And I'm like, I was like, listen. And then I was like, no, actually, that is like, what else do you fucking say in that situation? Like,
all you can do.
Yeah. Well, she's just like, I can't travel like that. I have to physically walk back to the Palathon myself.
I mean, she can fly, but yeah.
Sure, but
and then we're in the Palathon and we call up our boy Devin and we say, "Yo, Sandrakk, he in the building." Jared's gonna have an aneurysm from the hammering.
The SWAT team was gonna break through my window at any moment.
Floor, probably not window. But yes, so then we talk to Devin, and Devin immediately forgives us and is like, "Oh no, Sandrakk is here. I'm so glad you're back."
They need people
homie.
to fight, so I'm sure they're just
you
like,
need the Triarch to help out.
Gotta have the Triarch. This section is hard. Playing through this on Immortal Palathon is kind of where I was talking about being kind of overwhelmed with enemies. Hard enemies too. There's a lot, and there's some people, there's other Magni that are here fighting with you too. But I struggled in this section. I don't know if you felt the same, Will, but I struggled.
This is definitely where you get to the bottom with the two Oathbreakers you were talking about, and that's the one where I'm running around in circles, and I'm like, please God. I was like,
Sorry, go.
No, I was just joking around, so like running from help me Pentasod type of situation, but it was
no, it was. My two biggest grievances with this section were, one, the two Oathbreakers, the two big dudes in the room. There many a time, I think I died 4 or 5 times. I ran out of health crystals. I was like just spamming my furies, because the new feature we have, I don't know if we spoke about, is like now enemies will get like red armor, and you have to use red magic to destroy that red armor before they take any health.
Yeah.
My second biggest enemy in this was the fact that, like, especially when you're in the big room with a staircase, like the grand hall with the names of everyone who's passed, I could not exit that for like 3 minutes, and the music was still playing as if there was an enemy that I
Was there an
hadn't
archer
killed.
like tucked away somewhere, like on
There
one of
was
the top
some
things?
random fucking
Yeah.
archer
Yeah.
like tucked away somewhere, and I could not find him for love nor money.
Yeah, that happened to me too, where I was like, it's funny because there's like the boss music, the fight music, and when the enemies are gone, it goes away. So I'm
Yes.
just like, where is the I can't proceed forward. There's still fight music that's happening, but you're right. There's like
Yeah.
one or two guys that are just tucked away somewhere. You just hear like, "Urgh, Strargh," and I'm like,
When you start spamming torrent because it'll lock onto them. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
That's
find
it,
them.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just go and kill them, please.
Kai, how did you feel about this kind of enemy rush, boss rush kind of section? That
I
we
mean,
do
it's
here?
pretty similar to the rest of the game. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, yes, the enemies get significantly harder, but your equipment is also upgrading at the same rate, essentially. So, I mean, there was definitely parts of it I struggled with. The large amount of oversized enemies is what I will call them, the kind of like
big
previous bosses, as it were. I definitely died a lot, but I also consistently forget that healing is a thing in this game, and then have to remind myself that you can use healing crystals, that you should be doing that, and then it becomes a lot easier to get through. But yeah, like, once again, it's kind of same rooms, waves of enemies, constantly fighting them. The one thing, like, I felt like there was more of a difference between the, what are they called? What are the things on your arm?
Oh, your was it what?
Braces?
About your sigils.
Sigils. Thank you.
Yeah, sigils.
I felt like there was a larger difference between the sigils at the beginning and now later in the game. Like, I don't feel like there's really that much of a difference between the sigils you're using, like, depending on what we're getting at what time. So, like, I would like to see a little bit more diversity in that space. And, like, I guess each of the magics kind of has their shtick at a certain point, so you can't, go too far away from those. But I kind of just stuck with the ones that I liked using at a certain point, which, maybe was a detriment. But overall, it was fine.
They always have like one outsider. Like the green one will have the LMG Maelstrom, but then the other two are just locking on. The blue has the javelin, like Jared was talking about, that has the actual different animation for catching the blue beam and throwing it. But then the other two are just pistols with different clip sizes. And then same for the shotguns. You have the grenade launcher that bursts in midair. But then the other two are just, you want a one-shot shotgun or a three-shot
or a three-shot shotgun. Yeah, I'm like, I'll take the one shot. I'll take more damage any day of the week. I'll just do that. We do go into the what's the thing in the Palathon. The path. Yes, we go into the path, and Ben had mentioned it before. This is kind of where we are now seeing the kind of history and lore between Sandrakk and Kirkan play through. And when we get kind of the big reveal, we knew that they had like struggles. Sandrakk had some problems with something that Kirkan did, and this is where we get to find that out. So essentially, what they had done is Sandrakk is Rosharnian. He is from Rosharn, but he wasn't immortal. He was like drafted into the Immortals. He was fighting for Lucian and everything like that. And in order to kind of get a leg up in the war, Kirkan had poisoned the ley lines that are above Rosharn. And in doing that, kind of like magically castrated them, where they now are not producing any magic users after that. Which is kind of significantly reducing the Rosharnian army. And Sandrakk wasn't okay with it, and he can see the corruption where Kirkan said, like, the king approved this. The king was okay with us doing this. And even though there is, like, obviously this war that's happening, that was too far for Sandrakk. And that was ultimately what made Sandrakk go back to Rosharn, was he did not agree with some of the tactics that they were doing, which again, we use like the mustard gas or the what. It's like, that's crazy. This is like essentially what they were doing.
Yeah.
My question is, was this something that Sandrakk being in the path and pulling the ley line, like, he was able to show us, or it just automatically showed him that? Or did the path know because it's a part of that big magical connection, and it just like, waited until now to be like, oh wait, by the way, here you go, you're working with
for you.
Yeah. Look at this.
That's true. Yeah. I did not think about how this information came about.
It's interesting, right? Because like something they said early on was like the path shows you like what you need to know. It shows you what information you need at that time. Because when we do it initially, we see like Seren and we encounter Luna and all of that stuff. So I guess I guess it was need to know, and we didn't need to know until now.
I mean, they were both also in there, so maybe it was like
been, like, pulling
using
from
their
memory.
memories because they were in the path at the same time as us to show us that.
There is like one line where Kirkan is like, Sandrakk says something. He's like, I'm going to tell everyone. He's like, I can't believe you've done this. Like, it's so fucking wrong. I'm going to tell everyone. And Kirkan's just like, go, we'll kill you before you can say
I was like, oh,
I mean, the reveal here is that Kirkan, the Lucians are using a piece of Lucian technology to hoard magic, essentially, which is additionally causing the scar to expand exponentially, which is no bueno, because everyone thinks that the reason that they're the scar is expanding is because just people are using magic, but the reality is that the Lucians are storing it away.
Am I the drama?
We are the drama. We are the bad guys. I mean, we're the bad guys, but also
Sandrakk loses the plot a little bit here, where he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna be evil. I'm gonna be evil,
which doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, okay,
sure. Yeah, and
power
is kind of
absolutely, man. That's how it works.
That's right. That's how it works, man.
I guess so. Yeah, like it's just. I guess that's the only justification I've got for it, because I said before about him very like being calm and collected and everything like that.
You see him crumble a little bit in this section where he like you say, he starts losing it.
Yeah, and I think basically he absorbs the font that is at the center of the Palathon, which causes the Palathon to effectively lose power and begin to crumble and everything. And then he goes to kill Jack, if I remember rightly. And this is when Devin
pops up,
away.
Stabs Sandrakk. He's shooting green magic into him, and then Sandrakk just like Goku busts like a hole in his stomach, just straight through the center of him.
When I tell you, I felt no emotion.
That's crazy.
Oh, no.
I felt bad. I felt awful.
I didn't feel anything.
I could not have cared less.
I legit like jaw drop was like, I know I didn't really like you. You're annoying, but that doesn't mean you should die, bro. He was helping us.
His eyes.
Dude, do you want to talk about anime tropes? It was such a fucking red flag of being like, dude, it was a death flag of like, oh, like I'll forgive you, like, you know, we're gonna do this together. And then he comes to save the day, and yeah, he gets fucking like rats blasted in the fucking chest and
Devin
dies.
does give me like the Krillin of this this
no disrespect to Krillin, but yeah, that's how it felt.
No, I can tolerate Krillin though. Like,
I mean, you're right. I do think Devin was annoying, but I don't think he deserved to die. He was a homie. He's an annoying homie, but he's a homie nonetheless.
I never said he deserved to die. I said
he deserved that. I mean, I think that's the best thing for his character. Like,
that was the end of the arc.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, as far as
watch him not be dead.
I was gonna say,
I mean, with all the shit that goes on his fucking nose, like probably
so much magic. Who knows what could happen?
Doesn't Luna go up to him and start doing like a green? Is that different? When does that happen? Someone has a green spell. I don't know if it's Devin.
Devin heals the sheaf and the mech. I don't know if you're thinking about that, where he has like a green.
Oh yeah. Why don't we just do that?
Well,
I'm cool.
He fell into the abyss. I don't know if he's
he can't heal a dead person too. His eyes were like rolled back. Like
I was gonna say, like, you know, he had like, because he gets hit with like triarch magic. Like he's not just hit with
his eyes smoke.
Yeah,
that was cool. He looked badass when he died, though. So I mean, I guess that's fair.
He looked sick when he died. I gotta tell you.
Crazy theory. Like, what if he comes back as a triarch? What if he's now infused with triarch magic, and that's why his eyes glowed?
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Devin's not important enough to be a triarch.
No. Could you imagine that?
You die in the path. Who knows what could happen?
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, what's called though? You don't really die in the path, right?
Will, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did say that. You're right.
Yeah. Like the Magister, whenever he did, it was like, oh, this is my 5th time trying out to be an immortal. It's like,
but is that because you die from the course? But if someone goes in there and kills you, does that count as dying in the path? I don't know.
We will find out.
Devin's not dead.
Right.
Well, we don't get to know because fucking Sandrakk absorbs the font. Well, he absorbs the font in the Palathon. The Palathon falls apart, and then we wake up a month later after seeing the memories of Luna from the night that she supposedly dies, and then we figure out like, oh shit.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So Luna falls down, right?
Speak on it, King. Okay.
She falls down. Well, because I want to just like I want to put this into into perspective. We glance back to when Sandrakk's there. Sandrakk shoots her. She falls off the cliff, and she's like not actually dying, and she starts to fall, and then she starts to fly, and then she like Iron Man flies back up, gets caught by a Rashanian ship, and basically explains to us like, "Hey, I got abducted," and she's like, they told me the truth, and then basically she's just like, yeah, I defected. I just went and become a soldier for the. She was so fucking hot on being a soldier for the light army. Like, I don't know if she's downplaying the amount of like, I guess it's not propaganda. I guess it's the truth, but like the amount of like, like the amount of truth that was put onto her. But she's just the way she delivers it is very like, they showed me the truth. I defected. I became a soldier for Rashan, and you're like.
Don't forget the most important part: free college tuition.
That's true.
True.
Free housing. Yeah, that's true. That's
that
true.
Was the selling point.
Yeah.
I mean, she ain't wrong about the free tuition, but like, it just seemed very weird to like go from like, because in that moment in time, she was so like her whole personality was the fact that she was going to the light army. Like that was everything that she was kind of working towards, and like she wanted to be part of the Everwar.
It's like you. Sorry, the drag racing outside. It's like you said though, like she kind of saw the other side of it and was like, I think Sandrakk's original kind of plan was just to stop this war. Like we don't want any more bloodshed. Like he doesn't want any of his people to die. He said that multiple times, like this blood of your people are on your hands. I tried with peace. I think that was kind of like the beginning of it, but then you kind of saw Sandrakk slowly like kind of lose that, and I think Luna saw this too, and that's why she's ultimately now like neither of them, Kirkan and Sandrakk, are both bad, and they are the ones in the way for peace. Is kind of what the
I don't know. I don't see it like. I don't see it like that. I think this is like, I mean, I'm getting into like theories, I guess, but like, I don't think Sandrakk ever truly intended to stop the war. I think his intention was to do to Lucia what they did to Rashan. I think that's like from the get-go, and like he can't poison the ley lines because his army need the ley lines. So instead, he wants to get absolute power, and he wants to like basically stifle them and put these wristbands on them. Like I guess for me in that moment when she's explaining it, like I said, maybe she's oversimplifying it, but she just seemed to be so like ready to jump to Rashan, and maybe that took weeks. I don't know, but
we don't actually get to see that.
The game doesn't. Yeah, the game also doesn't like say anything. Like how quickly did she become the hand of Sandrakk? Like how much did it take them to convince her?
I mean, Will, obviously you've beat this and you've seen the end of the game, but obviously without spoil, like how did you feel about Luna and her switch and the whole deal with Sandrakk at this point and everything?
I definitely understand where Ben's coming from, where it's like you're not sure if she's really selling it as well as maybe I don't know if it's her as the character or maybe it's the writers just saying like, hey, let's just kind of move it along. We've mentioned that before. They tend to kind of hurry you through the story so that they can get to the next step point. Yeah. My thought from it and what I kind of pulled from there and even like towards the end of it was, it's a time jump. What were they? Maybe 16 in the prologue. Let's just say 16, kind of some kind of teenagers, right? And yeah, you're really gung-ho, you're this, but you're still young and malleable. So if you get captured by an enemy force and then over the course of 5 years, they're like, propaganda. And then ultimately too, they're just like, all right, you either fight for us or die. Or, that's a kind of, I'm sure that's the option they gave her, or be a slave or something like that. It's like, well, I'll fight for you if those are my only two options. And then you eventually start to get to the point where, all right, I will accept what I'm being told here. I've seen it out there in the fields. I see the people here in Rasharn suffering because I'm actually here in Rasharn. Seeing that no one's being born with magic over the course of 5 years. So what you're saying, most likely is true.
When you was talking, I realized like, I guess that is like if she's there for long enough, she will see that people aren't being born into magic, which immediately is going to kind of prove what Rashana saying Kirkan did, I guess. Yeah. So, see, this is what you need to talk. You need the perspective, because like I was just like, she fucking flip flopped so easily. Like she gave up her whole kind of like meaning and character and everything. But I guess when you put it in perspective, like you said, I forget there was a 5-year
time skip. And so she was in Sharn for 5 years. She got to see all this play out. And we also, this is why we know they kidnapped her, is because they need people to fight, because that lack of magic, just because of what Kirkan did. They need Magnite to fight for them. So kidnapping young impressionable people that are already ready to fight and have strong like magic already, their show like Luna has strong presence of magic, grabbing her up when she's young and impressionable and being able to turn them and show them the other side is like, that's like kind of an easy thing to turn around. Like, yes, you saw us as evil, but like, look what your side has been doing to us for these past thousands of years. This is what has happened. And it's like, oh shit, you're right. Maybe I'm not the good guy. Maybe they're the bad guys and we're the good guys. We don't know. We're all the baddies is guy's title.
We're all the baddies.
But we find out that in the month that we have been effectively like comatosed, Sandrakk has taken absolute control of everything. He has instilled these like magical cuffs on the Magnites that mean they can't use their magic. The Rashan army basically now controls Seren, which is back where we are. And
back at home, baby.
It is run by what's his name?
March giant axe guy.
Morbane. Who immediately right off the bat, as we're walking through the town, first thing we see is public execution of a light army soldier.
Jack's like, are you sure Sandrakk is like good? Because they just executed some homie just like in broad daylight. And she's like,
and Luna is very much like basically like the hashtag not my Sandrakk. Like this is not the guy. Like I
didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. Hold on. That's what I felt doing my notes. I was like, oh yeah, I see everything in the Pentaside or the path. And I was like, oh, Kirkan's the bad guy. Maybe Sandrakk's really the good guy. Is this how the story's gonna go? We flip over to Sandrakk's side, and then it goes to this immediately. I'm like, no.
Sandrakk gets power and immediately disappoints everybody. He's like, let's just kill everybody. Let's no magic for anybody. I get all the magic. Fuck all for everybody else.
I like you said, Sandrakk. Like Will said, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like it's I was just fully gone to 10.
I was curious, as like Kai had pointed out too, the kind of the Mark MacGuffin that happens. I was like, oh damn, they kind of took away all of our abilities, our magic, sort of like the Metroidvania kind of style. I was like, I wonder how to like try to get them again if we go through the path. And like,
you just get it immediately
and just break everything. And then ultimately too, not only like it makes sense sort of that he's like, okay, I'll break the bindings that are constricting my magic and Luna's magic, but ultimately he's just like, everyone has magic again.
Yeah,
have fun, everybody.
Yeah, that part got me.
Get your magic back.
Well, also, I would have liked like in this section if you had to use that original like blue magic like you have,
like you're inner, like you're a blue mage at heart, like that's
well, like you don't have a sigil, so like you can't use like you can just use whatever your little puny sad magic is that you have, because like you know, like if you're gonna take away our stuff and you're gonna send us back, you know, to the beginning, like do a Metroidvania. Don't like do this cheap like, oh, you don't have powers, oh actually I kept all of our stuff in a convenient box and it's all right here and now you have all of your equipment back. It's like
It is interesting because anytime Jack is portrayed using magic in cutscenes, he uses blue magic. It's always blue magic. He has a blue shield. He has a blue magic. So it is interesting to, like you said, if we had a situation where he has just his basic blue magic back. Although I will say that the scene where his mark kind of breaks his shackles and he kind of shoots the head off of that red guard and his helmet like falls off. I was like, okay, that was badass.
I was just about to bring that up too. You see how randomly, you know, during the normal fighting and when you're doing your in standard combat, you hit people with magic and they disintegrate or melt, what have you. So it's very like PG, very T for teens type of situation. Right. But then in the cutscene, you shot that guy with the pure magic and it's like a pool of blood drips out from where you knocked his head off. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm killing people when I'm shooting them. It's very Disney for a while. You don't really feel like you're killing people until you see blood dripping off of someone.
You're just like, oh, that guy's like, he's just disintegrated into magic.
I mean, we have also watched like 3 of our friends die, so you know, and bleed, including the child at the beginning. So
was your friend?
Oh, okay. All right. That's not what that wasn't the argument I was making, but you're correct. We've watched people die who we know
have little to
directly.
no affection.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up. Made me look up what the rating is of this game. It is mature, which is probably because of the language. They do curse a lot. There's not a ton of violence. I mean, there's violence.
They should have worked to make it teen. There was no reason to make this game mature.
Yeah, there's no like. I mean, this moment that happens is probably the goriest moment that happens in this, where you see the pool of blood that
mostly off screen, which is
it's the mostly off screen. It doesn't even happen on screen.
I could understand if we were like using green magic to like RoboCop people, like, you know, and just fucking like blow holes in them or something. But like,
how do we feel about, because we have our magic back and everything, and now we're traversing Saren? How do we feel to being back at Saren and kind of Saren's kind of platforms?
Lazy.
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Lazy game making.
That's probably the best way to put it. It was cool.
They're like, oh well, we already built all this shit. Why not just use it again? Not only that, they use the same assets again. You use the same goddamn fucking elevator and all of the same like areas that you were in.
I was kind of for me, it was kind of like a fun throwback when you see Luna and him on the like the gear things or the cogs that are going up and down. I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool throwback
like
to the beginning. Yeah, the chain.
Yeah,
the bike
chain.
chains, the big bike chain.
I did like that. I can see what Kai is saying. I think in my head, I was kind of like, it makes sense that it's the same assets. Like, this is our old town. This is like, why would Finns be new? It doesn't make.
Wouldn't you want to hide somewhere you're not associated with if you're trying to hide from essentially God?
But they're only known by association by them, right? Like Sandrakk doesn't know that that's
I don't
their
think
old
Sandrakk
hideout.
knows that.
And he doesn't.
Yeah, but they went to the town that they grew up in. Don't you think people know them?
True,
and it's like, oh, isn't that Jack, the guy who?
Hey, Jack! He's like,
isn't that the guy who became a Triarch randomly and like almost blew up the city that one time? Like, that's the place you go. You don't go to somewhere where no one fucking knows you, where you can be like, oh, we're just two travelers.
Luna does say, at least for like the Rosharnian, she's like, oh, they won't recognize me because I don't have my armor or anything. So like that's why.
I mean, really,
they don't recognize
you never took off
she
the
has
mask. The 900 times she took off the mask in front of us, they're like, wow, she doesn't have a ponytail anymore, so there's no way it could be the same person.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that this was supposed to be not, you know, but yes. It makes sense. Yeah, it's nice. We did full circle. Is that better? Do we feel better about that?
I was curious about opinions.
I can see both sides of it. I think like I can see why they didn't develop new assets because it is something that's previously there, but also I guess like you were saying,
oh buddy.
How was that, buddy? Meowing? I didn't hear.
No.
I think it would have been a better homecoming if you actually had more significant time in Saren. But you're there for the prologue, and then you don't come back until.
And I think you kind of nailed it, Will. That's kind of the whole thing, right? It's this idea of just being like rushed through, and you don't really have time to really feel anything significant, which I do get. I mean, my initial thoughts, because I'm a little pea-brain gamer, I was like, oh, familiar place, fun times. I remember this. I've been here before, and so
there's also an exceptionally stupid moment where he comes and he's like, they haven't fixed anything, and it's like, yeah, it's a fucking war. The war hasn't stopped. What are they gonna rebuild and get their shit blown up again? Like, what is that logic to be like?
Man, this place is shit. It smells like ass here. This place is awful.
My childhood gang stayed at. They didn't fix the house up.
Yeah. They're currently dust particles. That's why they didn't survive the explosion.
Yeah. I get why they use the same assets, but like it did feel boring. I think it kind of. I didn't feel like I was in a good familiar territory. I think I felt like I've been here, I've done this, like because even the layout really isn't that different. There's a little bit of verticality. There's stuff to find on each level. There's some sort of puzzle to unlock the way to progress to the next tier of verticality. Like it is a lot of the kind of same.
Yeah,
the spinning fire blocks puzzle.
Yes,
I could not. Yeah, you could take those out, and I'd be 100%.
Dude,
I'd-
it took
I'd be
me
fine.
12 hours of gameplay to realize that you could use limpets to slow them down.
You're just getting smacked by them. What the hell?
Yeah.
You brute forcing it. You were just double jumping the second.
I was just trying to double jump, like touch to reset, double jump to carry on.
That's crazy. Towards the end of this, we do have a boss fight with the Moorbane. How did we feel about the Moorbane boss fight?
I didn't get through this.
Did you
I'm
not?
not gonna lie.
No.
Oh,
I stopped at this point because I was like, I don't want to deal with
Damn.
this. And it's the end of the section anyway. So I
yeah.
was
We
like,
just
fuck
it ends right ends right after this boss fight. But
Yeah.
To be honest, the boss fight, yeah, it sucked. I can't. I'm trying to think of like
Oh,
a
yeah.
good thing. I'm like, oh, maybe like I used a bit of like but you kind of just like it's a red magic fight. It's kind of just like fighting a big red Magni.
Yep.
Like
Mm.
you use your red magic to break his shield, you attack him a little bit, you heal, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You do get a really cool legendary weapon afterwards. You get like his
Yes,
legendary
fire.
red sigil,
Yeah.
which is really fucking good.
Yeah.
But
nice.
the actual fight itself, I was like, it's not got any mechanic, and maybe that's kind of like because I've been spoiled by like the Sandrakk fight.
I was like, yeah, the one we just
and
had
the-
before was the Sandrakk fight. So
yeah, and like having to use different types of magic. But I was just like, oh, this is. It felt
It
like a mini boss.
It seemed like a step backwards too, where it was
Yeah.
like there should be a more interesting fight after Sandrakk, not a less interesting fight after Sandrakk.
Agreed.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely not as much brain power needing to be used when you're fighting Moorbane. The only tweak they added was since you're duo fighting him with Luna, she has her shield, so when he has like his big nuke move, that's like I'm
Yeah.
gonna destroy the whole arena. You hop behind her shield, which obviously
Yes.
games have done before, so it's not like it's brand new, but it was
Sure.
sure
No.
the game at the time. So I'm like, okay,
I,
I'll keep this
I
in mind.
think the thing as well is like it felt very underwhelming because obviously we've got the Hand of Sandrakk with us, but like this was Sandrakk's other dude. Like
Yeah.
this was his other right hand person. Like
My pitch for how to make this section better. Kai's improvement corner.
Mm.
Do a Metroidvania, get to this point, have to defeat the boss using environmental and dodge rather than magic, like set it up that way and have him be the blocker to getting your stuff back. Like he's taken your stuff
Mm.
and like used it for
It's like,
himself.
we knew you'd come back to your hideout where Sandrakk
Mhm.
found you all those years
Exactly.
ago. Like
Yes,
okay,
and then you have to beat him using just your little basic bitch magic and some environmental factors where you like drop buildings on top of him and stuff like that, and then you get your stuff back. You got to earn your stuff.
I kind of like that. I mean, I will say that before this whole section, I had been doing a lot of. We had brought up the kind of side, the feigns or the side things. I'd done some of those, and like the red ones, and they were just beating my ass. And so the Moorbane being like okay to easy to fight, I was like, oh, nice. It made me feel strong. I was like, okay, I can fight this. I can do this now.
I was
But
saying you brought that up too, Kai. Thinking about it, I don't think there's any environmental items that you use to fight enemies normally. It's normally just you shooting them, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
equivalent of like red barrels or pulling stuff down
No,
on people.
yeah.
So that'd be interesting to introduce. but
using
then
your
I'd be like,
whip.
where the hell was this for? the
Yeah,
last
like
15
use your
years?
whip to pull down a giant rock that crushes him, and then like dodge and
or the animate magic.
Yeah, exactly. Use
Yeah,
that.
animate magic,
Move
okay, yeah.
things to like block your way. Almost like what is that fucking game that we played? Where you're is it Star Fox? Where you're in the square and the
when you fight the
dinosaur is
T-Rex?
chasing you and you have to like dodge into things and it walks past you. That would be cool. I mean, obviously not that exactly, but a similar thing like that where it's
Use
like
your
more,
environment.
it's more avoidant than it is like combative, because this game is already so combative for so long that it's like it would be nice to have a little bit of like a break from
like
just
a puzzle fight or something like.
yeah, because the puzzles are fun. Like that,
Yeah.
we didn't really cover them, but like throughout this whole section, there's a lot of like laser puzzles introduced and a lot of these like
Mhm.
weird plant
Oh,
things
yes,
that you're
the laser.
using to like navigate the world, and like that's fun. But like put that in sections that aren't just like the in betweens between bullet hell and bosses.
I think I do remember you being on record being like, "Man, this dinosaur fight really sucks." I feel like
I don't want them to do the dinosaur fight from Star Fox. I want them to do something similar and modern to what that represented for Star Fox. I'm not defending the dinosaur fight.
You get into this fight and it just cuts into a Boots of a ROM of Star Fox Adventure, and you're just doing that fight.
That would be an interesting choice.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the end of the section. We have a cutscene where Jack Thanos snaps everyone's magic back, and he just gives everyone, I am assuming in Lucium, their magic back, which doesn't really explain how he's powerful enough to do this. But
I mean, because connection to Binding Stone?
Yeah,
Question.
they don't say anything. They're just like, hey, guess
Interestingly, Luna is like, I'm done.
She's like, I'm out. Yeah, she's like, I don't want to fight.
out.
I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight this war. It's not my hashtag, not my war. And she's gonna dip.
Which it literally is hashtag her war, by the way.
Yeah.
She was the one who was gung ho to fight it in the first place, and then swap sides. It's like,
yeah, she's like, I got to this point, I realized I kind of fucked up. I'm done.
Yeah, which honestly, I think that's kind of an interesting approach to it, right? As a character just being like I wonder if she legit is just out of the game, or if she's gonna like swoop back in.
Are you fucking kidding me?
We're gonna fight Sandrakk. We're gonna kind of be on like the back foot. She's gonna swoop in, help us die fighting Sandrakk.
1,000%.
Holy shit! Can you imagine? Jeez.
100%. I
like, Devin part 2.
She comes back. Devin is riding on her shoulders as she flies back in. And
no, she's riding on Devin's shoulders. Devin is riding on Sandara's shoulders. And then we're
like a Megazord.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, that is all for this section of Immortals of Aveum. We only have a couple of chapters left, and still a lot of questions that we have unanswered. Are we going to be able to take down Sandrakk?
Yes, the answer is yes. By the way,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess
the game goes all the way through. You can't take Sandrakk down. That's like
remember when it doesn't happen anymore in like movies or games anymore, but remember when games had like hard endings that were just like cliffhangers that didn't resolve until like the sequel came out, and you just like had a game that ended that you just didn't get answers to the questions, and you're just like, oh, I guess I gotta wait 3 years until a sequel comes out.
And then sometimes the sequel doesn't come out and there's no answers.
When you get like a half-baked DLC that was like, actually, it was a dream the whole time.
It was the friends we made along the way. It was the magic that we found along the way.
We can get into our assumptions and our final thoughts, but I'm pretty sure I can call the rest of this game.
Kyle, I'll pitch it right over to you. How did you feel about this section of Immortals of Aveum, and what are your kind of theories, your big brain thoughts about the ending here?
Yeah, once again, I covered a lot of my thoughts at the beginning, so I won't harp on it too much. The game feels outdated for the generation it came out of. It feels like it better fits in something in the 2010s rather than the 2020s. The combat's fine. It's good. Like, that's the highlight of the game, is essentially the combat. I like the puzzles. I think they get a little samey, like doing the same laser puzzle in different configurations a bunch of times. Like, they could have definitely leverage the different types of magic better than just shooting glowing orbs to unlock different doors. Like, there was ways to leverage that in more interesting and more puzzly ways than they did. Enemy diversity is fine. Like, there's a lot of different enemies that do a lot of different things. It can be overwhelming at times, a cacophony of different LED strobing, especially when things get a bit hectic. The Sandrakk fight, great, interesting. I think that was probably the strongest moment of the game up until this point. The story is very derivative and, boring at times, very simplistic, but, whatever. That's fine. As far as what's going to happen next, is what's going to happen next. Here's my assumption based on this game is essentially a giant trope. So we are going to, Luna's like, no, I can't possibly be a part of this. And then we're going to go fight Sandrakk, and Sandrakk and fucking Kirkan are going to be paired up. They're going to be homies again, because they're like, she's got nothing going on. The world just fucking changed. She was in handcuffs last time we seen. They were already homies. So they're going to be like, we're taking over the world now. We're best friends. And we're going to be like, no, you can't do that. We're going to go get Zendara, because that's where this game leaves off in this section. That's the next thing we're doing, is that we go get Zendara, who's now the, fucking princess of who's ever.
She was already the princess.
She was always a princess.
Yeah, but didn't Kalthus burn to the ground? Isn't that the whole story she told us? Which is that, like,
but she's the princess of the destroyed land.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, she's the princess of the destroyed land, and we go get her, and we're like, we need to take it to fucking Sandrakk's front door. Then we're gonna do some dumbass magical plot armor where it's like, oh, actually, through like this secret superpower of friendship, we can blow up Sandrakk, even though he's technically like the most immortal guy of all time and has all of the power of the soapstones or whatever the fuck. And we're gonna go, and then it's gonna be like, oh no, did they die? Oh no. And I mean, Luna will have also come back by this time. She'll be like, and then it'll be like oh no, our protagonist. And then of course the protagonist is going to be fine and Sandrakk is going to be fallen and everything's going to be okay. That's literally what's going to happen in this game. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my hat, but I guarantee you that.
Tune in next time where Kai, nice.
I have read and watched enough media to know where this is going.
Are we talking beanies or like
what kind of
whatever hat you want? If I'm wrong, you choose boulder, fedora, baseball, snapback, whatever you know.
Get in the comments, everybody. Put your hats in the comments of what you want Kai to eat.
But yeah, that's my assumption.
Okay. Benji, kicking off to you. How you feeling about the game as we're going into the finale, and any theories as well for this ending?
I think this section has been the weakest lore-wise. I think maybe coming off the back of the last section where we found out like Sandrakk was a Triarch and we found out about him and Kirkan's history and all of this kind of stuff. The only redeeming factor of that is like finding out what Kirkan did and kind of the impact that she had on Roshan and how, like, considering everything like Will was saying about the time jump, how that kind of made Luna switch sides and stuff like that. Luna is 100% coming back. That is like there's no way that she's not coming back. My take on it is different. I can see what Kai's saying. However, part of me wonders if the underdwell magic eating people are going to be used to suppress Sandrakk, because doesn't matter if he's an immortal magical guy, because
he can't use magic, then he's kind of fucked.
Magic, yeah.
And also, we was talking about how this was like the age of EA inclusivity gone crazy, and like how everyone's kind of, that seems like a really good like redemption arc of like, you banished our people down into the Underdark and now you need our help. But the thing that connects them is the Pentasard. The Pentasard doesn't like what Sandrakk has done and how he's using magic. And so the Pentasard instructs them to help the magic wielding people take down Sandrakk. And then actually the magic eating guys are embraced and celebrated, and it's all one happy big family and everybody lives. Now, I like a sad boy game. What I would like to happen is I would like something to happen where Sandrakk gets taken down and then there's no magic. And it's like magic is gone.
We're throwing hands now. We're just gonna,
and it's something happens, and maybe the Pentasard decides that people aren't worthy of magic now that someone's tried to take control of everything. Because they've kind of been talking a lot about how the Pentasard is the one who decides who gets magic and what happens, and almost seems to be this kind of like demigod in this alter realm. That's personally what I would like to see, is almost like kind of like a worldwide consequence of like, as a humanity, you have been fighting for tens of thousands of years over this. You don't deserve it. I'm taking it off of you. And then they kind of have to learn to live without it. Either way, I'll be honest, I'm trying to kind of, the combat is what's keeping me happy. If I'm being honest, like the actual like lore of the game isn't really all that. There's a lot of stuff that gets kind of dropped, a lot of stuff that gets described. Jack being able to fly. It all feels very kind of cliche. Now, the game has surprised me before. Sandrakk being a Triarch, him being an immortal, stuff like that. So there's a small part of me that thinks maybe it will throw in some twist I'm not expecting. But I personally would bet good money that Sandrakk is going down, Luna is coming back, and I reckon the magic eating people are going to have some part to play.
That's what Rook is, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, Lori.
Ilori, that's it. I kept thinking aioli, and I was like, they're definitely not called aioli.
The mayonnaise people. Just delicious.
Wow. See, Ben can say that.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Jared and Will are not allowed to call anyone
we're
mayonnaise people.
We're not. We can't use
Ilori
the
only.
we can't use the hard A. We're not allowed to use that word. They
Think of the soft A. Ilori.
I'm having a blast, guys. This game is fun. This game is
just
just like
wise. This game rules.
this game is just like dumb fun, and it's like enough like turn your brain off. Although the lore is kind of complex, I'm like here for it. I'm just taking again. I'm just like a very surface level man. I'm just like, you tell me something is the case, and I'll just run with it. I'm not gonna question it. I'm not gonna ask many questions. I'm just gonna kind of go with what you've presented. Yes, there's probably many plot holes in this. There's so many cringy moments that are just like, this is bad writing, but it's fun. This is the most like video game I've played in a very long time, and I think it's just like I feel like there's a spot for that. Like right now, this kind of gameplay, this kind of moment to moment story has been like perfect for like life right now, and it's been fun. I've been having a good time with it. It has enough of like the loop of RPG skill trees and finding collectibles that just scratches that like open world itch, but it's not super overwhelming with that. And as for what I think the narrative, I think you both are kind of like, I can see both of the options happening. I can see both of the situations happening. My thought is that Kirkan Sandrakk is gonna die. Sandrakk will die, and Kirkan is going to be our boss fight. We're going to fight Kirkan at the end instead. We're trying to stop this war. Kirkan's like, I have the power now. I'm going to be in control. And Lunen's going to come back. And we're like, no. We don't need anybody to be having full control of all this magic. Kirkan's like, fuck you. I'm going to take all the magic. And we fight Kirkan at the end instead of Sandrakk. And that would be a fun twist of the whole, like, Kirkan was good. Then Kirkan was actually kind of a tyrannical empire that is hoarding magic, and now Kirkan has come full circle, and Kirkan is now the bad guy. I could see the game kind of going that direction as well. But I'm having fun, guys. It's been a fun game. I don't know. I've been having a blast. The story, like I said, I'm not super connected, but from what they've been presenting, there's enough like character gray area that may be tropey, but has surprised me on different aspects of the narrative. And the moment to moment gameplay is just, like Ben and Kai said, it's been kind of the best part of this. Shooting shit and blowing things up and having colorful explosions has been just like, this is a great time.
I definitely want to say like the plot's had its moments for sure. I think even with all of the sort of issues I've had with the little gray areas, I still stand by the fact that for one reason or another, this was supposed to be like two games in one, or it was supposed to be a longer game that was condensed down. Like something about this feels really fucking rushed, and I think that's kind of what's impacting the game the most, to be honest. Which, given gaming culture, like top-down management compressing this game and ruining the gaming experience for the gamers at the bottom would not surprise me whatsoever.
Hey, that's the video game trope. That's how video games work in real life.
Published by EA, so keep that in mind.
Yo, I don't know if you guys have got this, but I had, when I signed in or when I logged in yesterday, I got to like connect your email EA like prompt that booted up right before my title screen, and I was like, oh, EA, no thank you, I'm fine.
Nice try.
Nice try, EA.
Read through all of this and agree to these terms. I'm like, this is a single player. What am I agreeing
what am I agreeing to? No, get out of here, EA. Will, do you have any kind of final thoughts on Immortals of Aveum and this game as we head to the ending here? And do you have anything for us as we're going into the finale? Obviously, no spoilers to what's happening, but kind of any parting thoughts here for us?
Cool. As far as my final thoughts, just to kind of quickly repeat most of what y'all said. The moment gameplay, the shooting, this, like y'all said, Doom with magic is definitely an apt way to put it. I've really enjoyed this. So the fighting, the combat itself, and I said in like my little mini review in our Discord too, I wrapped the game, took about 21, 22 hours, and I felt like the combat ebbed and flowed, and it ended up still ending on a pretty good note. So it drug me through the game for sure. The lore had its moments, just like Ben said, ups and downs. But for me, the big thing that I really took away from the world was that kind of interpersonal relationships, not just through people, but from the different sects and the different like cultures, like the whole thing with the lightless. If you've interacted with that character in the Palathon, like Silas Mead, who's a generational lightless soldier. So he's just a guy, right? He has no magic. His family's had no magic. They've served a Magnus because this is very feudal. It's like a Magnus is like a house leader, and then they have a bunch of just normal people with no magic fighting with swords and, I can only assume guns or something on their end. And his whole thing is he's been brainwashed since birth because he's no third generation of being like, yes, we love the Magni. The Magni do nothing wrong. This is great. They sent us out to die by the hundreds, and that's what we're born and bred to do. But as you talk to him more, you as Jack are kind of like, isn't this kind of fucked up, right? And you see like the gears start to kind of turn in his head. So seeing that happen kind of in real time throughout the game, similar to you have like Orphe, another character you interact with who is that sightless immortal who can kind of see backwards and forwards into the future as well as parallel timelines. A lot of those characters, they get talked to in the Palathon, but then nothing important happens, which goes back to what Ben was saying. I'm like, this would have helped to have more game, either more game, longer game, or more realistically second game to flesh those out. Because even Hauser, the Hex brand, I don't know if y'all ever talked to him in the Palathon. He's literally just a mage assassin. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool on paper. He tells you about all the people that Kirkan had him like go kill, fighting for the crown, fighting for the Immortals. But then, no real spoilers. He doesn't do anything, right? He doesn't pop up in like a cutscene. He doesn't help you fight people. He's always like in the shadows doing something. So a lot of those interpersonal connections, those cultural world touchstones that you have to really search for or go do extra steps for are my favorite part aside from the fighting. That doesn't really get much of a spotlight in the overall, like y'all said, pretty bland story. It's fairly by the numbers. I'm not going to point to say who's right for anything, but I mean, y'all are all kind of sniffing around. Y'all are all sniffing around the same bone, right? You're going to get a lot of this stuff. I think everyone said, the obvious. You're fighting the big bad. You're going to fight the big bad, but you don't know who's going to be the big bad, who's going to kill them. But it's a very normal story. I'm not going to say it's crazy, but it is a decent twist that no one's brought up. So no spoilers, but no one's brought up a decent twist that
interesting
towards the end that I think obviously does not derail, but I think it gives you a little bit more of an oomph when you get to the very end of it regarding the world and the magic. So I was happy to see that, but it also did not make the story like a 10 or anything. Still, it's fairly in that like 7 to 6 camp.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see who was right and who was wrong. And maybe we're all wrong. Maybe we're all right.
We're all probably a little bit right and a little bit wrong.
There you go. As those things tend to be, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for getting to the end of the episode. As always, Will, thanks so much for coming on and talking about this wild, weird game with us. It was so fun, dude.
No, I've had a blast. Thank y'all very much for having me on here. I wanted to check the time because I was like, look, I know I came in for like 5 chapters and we managed to squeeze 2 hours out of it. So I don't know how the other episodes have been, if they've been around same length or so.
Around the same.
But I appreciate y'all letting me come on and yap about this. Game of what I think it came out in 2023. But it feels like it should have been 2013.
Yes.
But it's been awesome. It's always a pleasure talking with y'all too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, one more time for the people at home, let them know where they can find you and Friday Night Gamecast as well.
All right. Good old Will here, half a Friday Night Gamecast with Nick. So find us on any of your podcast platforms of choice, Apple, Spotify. You can also find us over on the dark website, Twitter. Nick is out there normally throwing out some stuff there. I think we're on Blue Skies. That's the butterfly one. There's so many social media things nowadays. And then I will throw out a couple of funny things on the Instagram there. So if you see anything hilarious, that's me on the Instagram. If you see anything terrible, then Nick has hijacked it.
Nick is posting. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And links to Friday Night Gamecast and all the socials will be down below. Be sure to check them out because we love the boys over there. We love what you guys are doing. And again, there you guys have the pulse on AAA gaming. I feel like there's, especially during, the showcase season is over, so you don't have to worry about it.
Like, as this comes out, showcase season is over, but we're about to go into it, and I'm like sweating. I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, oh, I already have so many games to play, and I'm behind on so many things like Pragmata and 007, and I can just only imagine what they're going to announce and talk about over the next 2 weeks. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
We have like 4 just next week. There's like 4 showcases just next week, which is crazy.
Which is
insane. Okay, everybody. Yes, like I said, thanks for listening. Thanks for getting to the end of the episode. As always, in the finale of Immortals of Aveum, which is dropping on August 11th, we're going to be joined by Matt Storm, aka Stormageddon, to talk about the remainder of this game, chapter 16 through the epilogue. So be excited for that. Always good having Matt on the show. And they're the ones that recommended this game as well. So if y'all hate it, you can blame Matt. Blame Matt, which maybe we'll do. Maybe we'll do in that episode. But stay tuned. It's gonna be a good time. How fucking dare you?
I like it more than I thought it would.
Oh,
I will say that.
There we go.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, when the episode tagline for this game,
not as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Immortals of Aveum. It's not as bad as you thought it would be.
Yeah.
When we announced it, like when Jared was like, "This is what we're playing," both me and Kai were like, "Why the fuck are we playing this game?"
Yeah, it was not.
You did leave with like, it's not supposed to be that great, and it was like, then why the fuck are we playing it?
Well, that was a consensus. It was like capital F fine kind of game, but yeah, I've also been pleasantly surprised. And in that episode, Bed will be talking about and announcing our next main series, the game he's in a big. Which I know you're bouncing between two. I don't know if you've chosen yet, but they're both good. They're both great. They're both great games. So regardless of what he chooses, it'll be a good time. Yeah. Okay. With that, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the show, and we will see you next week. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
God, I'm never used to it.
You said you missed it.
I did, but then you did it, and I was like, oh my.